Good evening, Cryptid fans. We are sorry we're late. We're going to blame it on Mary tonight. I don't know why. We're just going to blame it on Mary tonight. Why not, right?
Yep.
And
Jeff,
David's somewhere.
David
He's
is in
popping
between here and
Oregon.
the universe, trying to get back online here with us. So hopefully David gets it worked out. Anyway, we got a great guest tonight, Bigfoot New York Todd. Of course, we got Mary Fabian. Also, we appreciate both of them coming in here. And of course, they've collaborated on some pretty cool Bigfoot. We assume Bigfoot fingerprinting and handprints and all kinds of good forensic stuff. So we're already late as can be. So I'm not going to babble on here too much. How are you, Mr. Jeff? Mr. Jeff.
I made it. It would have been better if I hadn't had to mess with that stupid cow waterer at the last minute.
You're the one that chooses to be a dairy farmer. It's part of life.
Hey, the same thing would happen if I had beef cows. So it's not.
Yep, I know. We've had our brothers with them over the years too. So, Mary, good to have you tonight.
Thank you. Good to be here.
And I'm sure you're going to have a show this coming Wednesday.
Yep.
Tomorrow night. So,
yep.
Before we get off here tonight, we'll definitely want to hear some more about that. And Bigfoot New York Todd, as I call the forensic guy, the Bigfoot forensic guy. Really cool stuff. We've got a ton of photos. Got a video showing some of the techniques that he used to ascertain prints from a RV window, I believe, a camper window.
That is some interesting stuff. I really like
that. We're gonna show all that stuff. I'm trying kind of doing something a little different on the photos on a share screen thing here tonight. Something a little different than normal because there was a lot of photos. So breaking them down, I just broke them down into folders. Now I'll have to go and open up the folders and then bring the photos to you. So just bear with me tonight. So, Todd, take it away. Tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, and what got you into this crazy subject.
Well, I'm self-employed in the ag business as well, orchard and vineyard supplies. Do a lot of wildlife control, a lot of bird control, deterrent systems, deer fencing, big jobs, big roars. It's everything.
Bigfoot fencing.
Well, yeah.
I don't think they found a fence that contained Bigfoot yet.
No, I don't think so. Maybe something
That's a good question, though. Have you ever seen anything that looked like a Bigfoot could have torn down?
At my former hunting lease, absolutely. That's where I collect the hair from. Oh yeah, they push it down.
Yeah.
There's a couple strands of barbed wire on top. It's a Black Angus farm, but one spot where they just terrain, geological advantages, the wind, all the elements are right for an organized hunt, and where they close this deer drive, they like hop into position, and I'm pulling hair off the same barbs. But yeah, I can walk that mile of fence, just that one part, not one hair over the same part, even off of the same barbs over and over. And what's really interesting too is it's almost as just like us as hunters, we have our favorite spot. We're doing an organized drive. Now, as we're the mature one, and maybe it's our woods, we get the best spot, right? Well, there's this big wild cherry of which the barbed wire's nailed into, overgrown. Right, a couple barbs off of that. The long, 14, 16, 18-inch long blonde hair off the same barbs repeatedly. I think that's stunning because your typical colors of the gray, kind of molted, auburn, black, but there apparently is a blonde one, and it crosses the fence right there. And there's actually a blind just on the other side, and it all makes sense. We hunted the same spot for a reason.
That's a lot of different colors.
They do, but that blonde one, just long snags of hair. Well, I'm sure I have some floating around here, but I've given 100 to Doug Hychek. I owe North Carolina University more of them. I have a diverse collection, but that one consistency, like the control being the blonde hair in the same position, and and I'll record myself. There'll be videos of it on my YouTube, and I'll look back, a year before, April again. It's the same barb. I get a kick out of that. It's the repeated behavior.
Wow.
Yeah, I think so. I have some of it here that you've given to me.
Probably, yeah.
It's put away.
Yep. Yeah, it's funny. The site that's south of Wellsville, New York, Allegheny County, is prolific with the hair and those balls of light, same spots consistently. And then the site in Allegheny National Forest, Pennsylvania, that Mary goes to with us too, the handprints.
That's some impressive stuff right there.
It's repeatable. And something every trip. I mean, not an experience every time, but some kind of evidence or something, and definitely learn something all the time.
Yeah, they love to interact right there. It's crazy.
Are in our site. They do. Mary's got stories, witness to it, and there's 5 or 6 of us there, and they tagged Mary's new truck. They even crossed the beam of an inexpensive, but works on infrared chime, motion sensors inside the house. So knew somebody was in the driveway. We all heard that ding dong, and then they played the bongos on Mary's tonneau cover, new truck.
Yes.
On the handprint.
Yep.
Yeah.
Those are some pretty curious ones, sounds like.
Yeah. There's more than one there. Originally, there was a big black one that we measured at around 8 foot. About, when was it? About 7 years ago, I think we measured that one. But since then, there's, with Todd, 2 more that have joined, possibly 2 more, a red one and a white one.
Yeah, she said that she saw the red one this weekend.
Okay.
Go crossing the road, that screen of pine trees. You don't get an exact look, but you see that large, just behind the trees. It's not a bear.
No.
Lots of juveniles on this property, and we really think those are the ones that are interacting. And I gotta be honest, I don't know how to comprehend it, because I always come back to risk benefit, and they're constantly taking a whole lot of risk.
Oh.
And
There you
sorry,
He's back.
notification. Take a lot of risk to mess with us and get caught.
Yeah.
And JP from Canada is running the camera trap program there aggressively. They don't get the picture, or it's all static, or the camera's askew. And the best one is, and I've been there for this, the camera will be opened, 2 batteries popped out, the SD card gone, or the SD card pulled out with the mini SD card pulled out of that. And when that was discovered, she had picked it up, and I got a picture of it. She's holding on to it. You could see the sebum on the edge of the SD card as it had to pull that out. Well, something coincidentally with white sticky substance did that.
Interesting. Okay. Because, at first I was thinking, okay, is there human interference? But with that sebum, no, that's them. That's the Bigfoot.
And I was there. I mean, we were cleaning that. I was giving my hand cleaning that red shed out, and the Christmas decorations. Hence how I acquired those red Christmas bulbs, putting them through the woods, and they showed up later, about a year later. And that camera was in the background, and there was a solar light in the lawn, just those inexpensive ones on the stake. Well, JP had a camera set up there with the solar light pointing at it, camera was actually way down over here. So in other words, I think he was trying to trick it, have it see that and go around it, capture it. Well, we were out there a couple of hours, and one of those two looked up and they're like, the yard light's gone. And it's like, yeah, I remember seeing it. And this is still middle of the day. Go over there, the yard light is up in the tree where the camera is, pointing back down. In fact, when it was dark, the beam of the light pointed exactly back to where it came from. Oh, and it gets better yet. As you come up to this tree, well, actually, that's the tree weave right there, where they pulled the limbs together and tied it off.
Yeah.
In other words, almost like putting a do not enter, so you couldn't get quite up to this yard light, which was just wedged in the crotch of this tree. And I mean, it could have been human, but while we're right there, and this is country, and when I'm there, I'm carrying. Rich usually does. I mean, it's just not something people do.
No.
Right.
Yeah, and those little weaves are all over the place. They're woven on the railings of the hunting blind. It's crazy, they're just little saplings that they'll bend and they'll weave the tips of the saplings together.
It is cool, and how the dexterity that they have.
Yeah.
Primates, I guess, have dexterity like this, not like we would think like this. And I don't know if that helps them. But what's interesting too, when they do the tree weaves, you can see immediately how it burns the leaves of where they touch it. So there's something perhaps acidic in that compound in their hands. And it's amazing. I mean, yeah, I do have some twist ties on it, because when I cut it apart and travels, it kind of ruins the torque of it. But these twist ties are all loose, and I bring it home and I soak it in glycerin. In other words, tree sap. And that's how it gets preserved.
Okay.
Just another thing that's weird that they do, but it's pretty neat.
That is cool. That is
Yeah.
some cool finds, man. I love that stuff.
Yeah, there was a question on earlier
Yeah.
about their hair color.
Yep. I had it saved back. I didn't want to bomb him with a question, you guys, but feel free to answer real quick if y'all want to.
It's my opinion is that it's genetics, because the ones that I've seen, especially the one that was around my house before, and the one at our research area that Todd and I go to, they stay the same color year round. It's genetics.
Right.
Just like us. Unless mine's L'Oreal.
Yeah, I'd say I agree with the genetics part, because you could have a reddish in any state in the United States. You can
Yeah.
have a black in any state, et cetera, et cetera. So I'd say it's genetic for sure. Yep.
I find this blonde and white really interesting, because you would think it would stand out more. Maybe not the blonde, but definitely the white.
Yeah.
The only hair I've collected from the R&R site is white.
I was kind of thinking about that it may be, like polar bear hair, well, where of course it is, where it's hollow.
Mm-hmm.
And so it may be able to refract the light a little bit easier being white and blend in with, the surroundings, and take on the color, of the surroundings a little bit better. I don't know. Just
That's excellent. That could be. So it's almost like it doesn't matter what color it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting, especially with the white. Well, do you want to start with the, do you recall the video, the camper window?
Yeah. Let me go pull that up real quick.
That's fun, because that's the first handprint at that site that I was lifting, experimenting with what I had, and it was just baby powder. And honestly, it works well.
Okay.
Baby powder seems like a pretty easy way to get prints.
Yeah. And, those prints are tough. They're tough. I was back down there, 2 weekends ago, and there was more handprints on the camper window. I'm doing my latent prints, trying to lift them. Oh, it was brutal cold in that wind. And taking pictures, and I started looking. It's like, this is just looking familiar. I was there a couple days before Christmas. The handprints were there. I had lifted them, cleaned that window. Actually, it was the same handprints again. They come back. So this window, they hit repeatedly. It's they tag it.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and play it then. I'll have audio as well. So if you can't hear it, just holler. I'll try. I think it might be turned all the way up. We'll see. But I got to go to the other window. Sorry. Working without a net here. Here we go.
I guess you're blowing away the powder.
Yes. So I was, as you can see, I was a couple steps. I'm on a step ladder as well.
Right.
Yeah, that flashlight does that. The digital light makes it flash, but when you're looking at it, it doesn't.
Let's see, there's the 2 handprints on the sides, and then what the top circle, do you think that's forehead, or is that his nose?
I was thinking forehead, but I'm starting to reconsider nose. What do you think, Mary?
I'm kind of thinking forehead because the other one is dripping, so I'm thinking nose on that bottom one.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, that is very interesting.
Again, you got to consider the height. He's up on 1 or 2 steps up on a ladder.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those handprints, if I remember right, they're like 6'6", and so I don't think this is a huge one. Yeah, we say juveniles. One of the residents saw, a baby monkey last summer, and so we think there's a few different ages, right to teenagers. But these handprints, the style, are just repeated. Typically, the right hand leaves a better print than the left. Didn't in this case, but so many of the others I've collected, and to me that implies, that right hand dominance, just like we are, and they're infatuated with the tinted glass. It's like they have to see what's in it. But I'm starting to wonder if a lot of it is, I forget the name of it. It's a part of self-awareness for a primate that they're looking into the mirror and realizing it's themselves, not like other animals. If they can see it, they think it's another, one of their kind, not themselves. Yeah. There's a name for that. I can't remember. But basically, self-awareness.
What was the size on those handprints?
I think 7 inches across. I don't remember the length. And one thing I really think that they're not coming up full-handed like this. This is just a relaxed hand, and then dragging. I think their fingers are more of all the same length. In fact, you know what? I got a prop. You guys talk amongst yourselves. Let me grab it over here.
Yeah, I think that we had measured, 7 across, and then because there were another set of handprints there, like 13 inches long or something like that. I honestly can't remember, but again, they may have been dragged down.
Yeah. It almost looks like would be the right hand print in that particular instance was more finger, just the tips of the fingers, and then
Yeah.
drug a little bit, versus where the left hand was flatter on the window, but you could clearly see. But definitely pressed up against the window trying to look in. There's no doubt about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, and that one, that one would not be the black one, because the black one is at least 8 foot. Yeah, that one would probably be one of the juveniles.
Teenagers, yeah.
Yeah, teenager.
So this is, one of the actual ones I lifted. So this is a 8.5 by 11, and I love the thumbs.
Yeah.
And then the extra long contact with the pinky finger. This is another one I retrieved from there. So this is 8.5 by 11, but see the difference in the fingers, like the lengths of them.
Yeah.
And the primate, their thumb will lay more like a finger does. Helps wrapping their hands around the tree to brachiate.
Sure.
Not so much the dexterity, but what I've learned recently, their dexterities like this, where ours are not. And actually, this one did have a measurement of that hand. So yeah, it was about 7 across, and I think we estimated about 11 inches.
Okay.
It's just the repeatability and their curiosity. That camper emergency exit window, I've lost count how many times. Sometimes the camper door window, sometimes the dinette. And what's really interesting is camper's just in the turnaround in the driveway. And actually, when I'm out there documenting and lifting those prints, I have to be careful when cars drive by and see me what I'm doing, because once I start illuminating those handprints, people in this area are aware, because there's so many Bigfoot silhouettes as you drive around town. I've always noticed that. That's typically, it's interesting how many there are in an area where there's reported activity. But it's so close to the road that I sometimes have to hide what I'm doing. But there's not that much traffic, and actually where their home is a perfect place to cross that. Little undulating ground, the forest comes up to the edge, so it's the least exposure, and that's why they're crossing there. Everything stacks up to me as a hunter, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's the tree line behind their house has been moved back. But then they still, there's the fallen logs there. That's perfect blind for them to observe the house and everything going on there.
Yep, and they keep adding to it. And what was it, 50, 60 feet behind the house, and open right up to a mature forest.
Yeah.
It was relatively open before, but not many years ago, there was a tornado that grazed them that outside of the woods. So a lot of limbs and trees down, and tree company came in, removed that stuff, but so much of the brush is pushed against the woods. They were already having activity. You just really give them a better castle moat effect.
Mm-hmm.
I believe these creatures like the castle, they have a moat, and a moat, you've seen that, Mary, there.
Yeah.
We're basically looking through a series of windows in the woods to watch you, and
Mhm.
you're not going to see them.
Right.
No, they've got perfect little hiding places, blinds per se, but all through there. And they have their own paths that they travel, and then there's one central path that the one day JP was
Hmm.
chasing the Bigfoot. They were going back and forth.
And that's why they don't like them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It reminds me, we used to go to, it's about prior to the show, we were talking about Western New York tractor pulling. We went to Strawberry Fields is a place we used to go to in Chaffee, New York. I couldn't remember the name before, but it's Chaffee, New York.
Okay.
And some of the parking area there on the other side of the track where we camped backed up the woods there. I remember a buddy of mine from Virginia sitting there one night with his back to the woods. And I guess a skunk or something jumped down around through there, and he'd come up out of that chair. But it kind of reminded you, would make that noise. It would really, in a serious situation,
Right.
make you think of something was back there. But we've seen it. It was a polecat. I just remember, it just reminded you, said the edge of the woods. It reminded me of that incident. But, yeah.
Well,
that was an interesting area through there.
Yeah, in an area like that, with that event going on, I mean, Mary, you probably agree. They're coming to check it out too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it was a pretty neat place. New York's got some, you get over in central and western New York, even the eastern part of New York, you get outside the cities, man. That's some cool country, man.
Yeah,
Really
quickly.
Country. Yes.
Yep.
I mean, Long Island, right? Long Island's got supposedly has activity. I'm assuming I've heard so.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It doesn't make sense, but yeah, there's so much we don't know. We don't know, and just that will, and that cover and movement of dark.
Yeah,
it could be done.
No doubt.
All day long could be done.
Yeah, New York is, especially you get up in the northern tier, it's pretty mountainous. So I mean, pretty barren, really. I mean, you get in the Adirondacks. That's pretty wild country up in there.
Yeah, and I mean, they count snow in feet.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
a sprinkling overnight, and I'm not kidding. I do snowmobile trail grooming, and we're not too far from the tug. I used to go up there riding, and it's nothing to have 8 feet of snowpack. It's just it's mind numbing, and that's why I think there's more in these areas of Western New York. I mean, life is too hard. These people that go to Alaska to look for these creatures, it's like, why? Yeah, I'm sure they're there, but it's really looking for a needle in a haystack of haystacks. It's they live. What's JP say? They're closer than we can think. Yeah.
My dad had the hots for a big farm up there. It was north of Watertown. I'm trying to find the town, but
Lowville.
Yeah, I know where Lowville is. Yeah,
okay.
We actually pull there too. But
Yep.
Was it Copenhagen?
Yep.
Copenhagen is actually just southeast of Watertown. It's up in that area. All I know is it was well within the snow belt up there.
Oh, terrible.
Ogdensburg.
Yeah.
Just outside of Ogdensburg. He had the hots for some huge farm up there. It was dirt cheap, and I think I know why.
Right.
I'm like, do you really want to move up there, Dad? I mean, that's a lot of snow up there,
It's
eventually
of Philadelphia cream cheese. It's from
the
town up there, Philadelphia. Oh, the big dairy operations they have up there, the factory farms.
Yep. Ogdensburg. It's right outside Ogdensburg. That's where it was.
Yep.
But that was just one of his little, hey, let's go get a big farm. And that was years ago.
That's that's way too cold for me up there.
Yeah.
I bet it would be. I bet it would be an interesting area to go down and around in there because there ain't nothing around really, right?
No, there's nothing. It's depressed. I mean, a lot of Western New York is depressed. It's Rust Belt. Just everything's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just kind of looking at a satellite view of the whole area there. Yeah, I'm sure there's definitely some activity somewhere around
Oh, absolutely. Going out of Pulaski, along the Salmon River, Williamstown. There was a fantastic report there, and that's huge salmon fishing, real popular. A lot of people come up there, that big salmon run, and this thing ran across the road, loped, and if I recall, it had a salmon in its mouth. The guy thought it was a huge bear, but just it went between him and another car, and the car ahead of him saw it as well, and it's passed between them, and that was quite a good report, and on all four too. That's the part that I like about it, that loping. I mean,
Yeah.
and that's why we don't see them in this site R&R that we refer to. They're quadruped, and recently the experience they're just reinforced it again, running an audio recorder outside my bedroom window, just as outside the glass with the Zoom recorder, the screen holding it in. We were getting house bangs. You hear something hit the aluminum of the storm window, and as soon as I start sleeping, because you hear me in my CPAP machine, which wasn't far away, but on the other side of the glass, you can hear something move up because there's rocks there on the landscape, snap off a rhododendron. Are you familiar with rhododendron?
Mm-hmm.
How twiggy they are. And then they go right to these, thin leaves, and grab one, you're busted off. Well, you hear that snap, then you hear the leaves go in the mouth, and you hear it chewing like 6 to 9 times, rolling around in its mouth right underneath my window.
Wow.
And as soon as it's done with that, snaps another one off. Could it be a deer? Yes, but it'd be too hard for a deer, to break that off. Now that's on the ground, of which to now is leaves. A deer, the thing's just right there. Leaves right there. We just eat the leaves off the, fork that's given to them. And all I had to do was YouTube gorillas eating leaves. I'm going to play it on Mary's show. I've been saving it for that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hear them repeatedly crack it off. And when you listen to that and dozens of these other audio or video recordings of gorillas eating in captivity, it's precisely the same. And it's typically between 6 and 9 chews, both of them.
Wow.
And you can hear it rolling around their mouth, switching to the other side of their mouth as they're chewing it. That one excited me.
Yeah, we actually have a rhododendron right out here at the side of our porch, a big one. It needs to be trimmed back, but they get big, bushy, big.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Hey, we haven't really talked about this much, but when did you actually see one?
I
I fell asleep while we were texting about this the other night.
Yeah,
so I didn't get to.
I fell asleep last night. So I had lots of encounters going back to 14. So how you believe, because all these things have happened, even the tracks, even the eye shine at night, yada, yada. When you see one, it blows your mind. So
that still hasn't happened. I've had all the other crazy stuff.
Yeah. Father's Day weekend, 2020. And I went back there. We had activity the night before. I had them on FLIR, just off the camper. And just before that, I was sitting against the camper window at the dinette. Fellow sitting across from me. All of a sudden, his eyes go like this. And guys sitting at the dinette were like, that's weird. And we both, he's looking between us. And when we turned to look, I didn't see it. And this guy wasn't a snowflake, trust me. And the trauma that I witnessed him go through, that psychological trauma, was incredible. Incredible. So of course I went out with the FLIR, and just in the goldenrod where the forest fell off in the valley, I had these two big logs laying there, and I was convinced they were logs. What else could it be? And it's like 50 degrees. It'd been raining. I don't know what decaying logs look like in the FLIR, got to be honest. Then of course, that the tree behind us gets slapped. This is at midnight. And all the Tweety birds take off, flush out. You hear them fly out, immediately turn back with the FLIR, and those logs were gone. And next morning, letting my buddies sleep in because nobody slept. I slept, but nobody slept. And so since it rained, I'm walking that driveway. There's got to be tracks. And the fellow that was with me, it paused, pointed over. It's like, hey, Derek, remember that video I sent this winter of the ball of light? It was right over there. Well, son of a bitch, right where I'm looking, which this is mind blowing. There's appears to be correlation here. I see a limb pop up. That hunter eye, and I was in hunting mode. Look around and around and around, what's moving, and all of a sudden I saw the 4 feet doing this, but just from the elbows down, black. And the fellow that's with me was right next to me a second before that, and I'm trying to get his attention. I'm not taking my eyes off of this because we're going to see a bear right here, and that's why I'm not yelling. And I wish Derek saw it with me, but he had turned away, and I'm scooping air and not taking my eye off it. And all of a sudden there was kind of like this window that opened into the forest, and I saw it cross an oblique up and over a treetop that was downed, and the branches were rotting, and when it went scrambled up over the top of that, they broke. And the coolest thing I observed was the pileoerection. It had started the creature already stupid ball, wide shoulders. This is a juvenile, literally bowling ball shoulders. But when it dropped like 1.5 feet, when that limb, as it's going over the treetop, because it was in that mode, it's going over through whatever, and it was running. It was quadruped. Did every locomotion besides it didn't do the paddy walk. It was accelerating. When it dropped, I saw the hair on its shoulders stand up like this. And we're talking hair that had to be like this long. It was crazy. Just like hair on the back of a dog, something being startled, us being startled. And it ran off into this thicket that was within this mature forest. And being a hunter, just like when I ground hunt, immediately marked spot on the ground. So I know where I was. I went and got one of the guys, took him into the survey stick, had a big laser, put him where I was, planted the stake, painted the spot. We're going to find tracks. No, we didn't find any tracks. Yeah. I remember walking up to that little thicket, and it was so dense that I couldn't even get a foot in between to get into it. And it's like, well, we got other stuff to do. Well, I came back down a couple weeks later. Maybe it was a month later, but shortly after that. And I accidentally found the bed. And that yielded so much interesting stuff. And actually, I found the bed accidentally because I was originally going back to where I found where it was sitting on this perch. And it was another big log that was down. Found the spot where Mama was sitting, the patine, bark worn off, just the shape of her butt. You see the oil in it. They sat there so frequently watching the road. What was really interesting, too, how they watch is after the only person drives up and down there is the farmer's son, and it's rare. It's a dead-end road, a couple miles off, private. Is after you pass. So in other words, for you to see it driving in, you'd have to turn all the way around and look back. So it's just like archery hunting. You want them quartering away from you, right? And that's where that position was. And uniquely, there was that was another from logging. treetop that was down. So, good sized branches starting to come up, elevated position. And I saw how that bark was worn, but smaller, and where the feet were. I hopped right up in it. I'm comfortable. It's like, damn, this is nice. It's kind of comfortable. I'm looking back to where I had come back with my four-wheeler, had casting supplies on it, parked my four-wheeler on my X. And it's like, what do they see? I reach out and grab that beech nut limb, pull it down. All I can see is the four-wheeler. And I went back to do a scraping of that patine where they'd been sitting. And that tree was all busted up into like 18-foot lengths. And the big log patine part, that was there, but I wanted to collect where the juvenile was sitting because I know the juvenile was just sitting there for sure. So I had to rethink of how I was going to collect this, and I went down into town. And the next day, I had was going in a different way to get to where this perch was, and I accidentally found the bed. And that was stunning. That was a great collection. The hair, the group scat. Primates do a group scat. Bears don't care if they shit where they sleep, And it was hidden too. The scat, like under this type of baracus, I think, kind of like rhubarb and ferns. And I actually only really saw it because I had to slowly work my way through it in big piles and small piles.
Ooh.
And that's all on my YouTube channel. And of course, I have some in my freezer still,
I actually have, I believe, 2 photos of bedding spots. Whoops. And,
Yes.
two scat photos. So I'm going to go ahead and show them while you're talking.
Sure.
Again, I'm trying something different, so. Okay. This is one of the.
So that's like 8 feet across. And what fascinates me that immediately I was observing was the picked ferns, and they're compressed. I have a lot more pictures and videos, and they're on my YouTube channel. What's interesting with those ferns, you can see different stages of decay. In other words, you can see something that was left on a month ago, a week ago, the night before, and that tree right there, the root is moss covered, makes a perfect little pillow. And it's ringed with these tools of opportunity, little Y-shaped sticks, which I even collected those because you could tell something was digging those, and there was hair embedded in the end of that as well. So that next picture that has the manila envelope in it,
Yeah.
It says
I'm here in a second.
collecting this material. The hair is just coming out of it everywhere. And this is precisely where I saw the juvenile run into just before that. You can see that hair just coming right out.
Yeah. Yep.
So Doug Hijack has a ton of that, and he's put that multiple places. Mary has some as well. Lots of dander in it. There has to be. I mean, I collected the whole thing. I used every bit of supply I had and came up with creative ways too. And I documented how I collected it as well. And again, all that you can see on my YouTube channel, but I'd like to get to more of these handprints. Did you see the email where I said, start here? It was one of the last ones I sent tonight.
No, I didn't see that one.
Oh, crap.
Sorry.
I
Here's
don't think I saw that one either.
This is another. Sorry. I'll go back and look here shortly.
Okay.
See if it's in there.
Yeah, you can see that Y-shaped stick, and there ended up being more of them around there than I realized. And I've seen them in other areas, and primates like to do that. They use it as a tool of opportunity. And look at the different ages that those ferns are slept on. And I'll tell you, where I get activity, a common link is ferns, beech nut, and hemlocks, and it for multiple reasons, all of which are high in vitamin C, and they'll chew on the ends of those. It's all ape behavior. If you look up how gorillas will make a ground nest, and apparently in Africa they have ferns there too, because I've seen videos of them picking ferns before they bed down.
Yes.
And I don't understand what it does, because it's only 5 or 6 of them. It can't offer any padding. It's got to be something with mosquitoes or bugs or something. I don't know. But right against that tree, you can see it's moss covered. Perfect place if you have wide shoulders to lay down on your side and have a headrest.
Yeah.
And there's even video of that too, with a younger ape picking the ferns, go to lay down. All of a sudden he looks over, he sees this rock, rolls the rock over, puts his head on it. And I collected hair off of it. That spot offered another feature I find with their travel routes is the multiple options for escape and being able to disappear. And what I mean by that is that additional layer of forest, be able to drop below those ferns, move through that, and undulation of ground. They like where the ground falls off just a little bit so they can do the periscope up and stage in on you, just like a tom turkey will do.
Yeah.
And yeah, over an hour and hours does that. We've seen it in play over and over.
Yeah. Greg House talks about that with what they did at his place, where it popped up. He had
Periscope up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's a scat photo, I believe.
So these are, and there was dozens of them, and it was within like the 6-foot radius, about 6 foot out of this bed. I've been told it's a nest. I'm more comfortable calling it a bed, like a daycare. So that knife blade is 3 inches long. It's 7 overall. And I thought the smaller scat was more significant than the bigger scat. And what I liked was the 2 sizes together and the total primate behavior of group scat. They just don't go random, which I didn't know that, but I've learned since. Well, I mean, I'm not saying they won't be random, but I guess if outside of their bedding area, it'll be group. They poop in a group.
Interesting. I've got a friend who's a primatologist, and I'll have to talk. Well, I'm trying to get her on my show.
Yeah, it'd be nice. Maybe you could get her with the, the shadow figure and the lights just behind her. You can disguise her voice some.
Yeah, she's
Like
done other. She's usually on Creek Devil with Will Jennings.
Yeah, I learned something from her all the time.
Yeah, she's very, very good. And try to get her and you on, and that way you can.
Oh, that would be
about what you've experienced, but
some interesting behavior stuff.
Yeah.
You want to try to find more of these handprints or anything with cueing listed on it, cueing response, being the subject matter?
I'm just going by what Jeff sent me. I don't know.
Okay.
I have some pictures of the camper with
Because Jerry didn't see any of your stuff till it showed up in the.
I'll tell you what I have. I have the Alba Vernix. I have comparing handprint. How about this? Comparing handprint to it. Just do that one real quick.
Sure.
Well, not real quick, but we'll start with this picture here. And that's kind of something I think you already looked at in the video, or you had. I actually did it there in the background, similar to a showing you the size of a handprint.
That is the same handprint. So that is the homeowner. That's his right hand compared to a right hand that I pulled from there. So you tell me if he's faking that.
Right. Wow.
Yeah, those are working hands.
Oh
Must
yeah,
have-
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see what else we got.
And both of them are very sweet, elderly couple. Very sweet.
I call him Grandpa Bigfoot.
Yes.
I was there right before Christmas. I did Thanksgiving with him. I did my birthday with him. So that's great. That was sleeping in the camper, April, I think, last year, in that same emergency exit camper window. I had pulled the blind down 3/4 of the way. And mind you, I'm like 20 inches on the other side of it by facing towards it. The reason I pulled the blind down, not all the way though, was to make them work for it, looking in. So there was the left handprint. I'm pretty sure it was the left. But they had to keep looking lower and lower and lower to look under the blind, because typically the blind's open, be able to see me. So you're seeing the smudge as their hands against
Okay.
the window,
Yeah.
as pulling their hand down lower.
Wow.
Yeah, look at those swirls. My
Yeah. There's another picture here. Yeah.
I've actually started pulling that emergency camper exit window and to lift the prints. I'll take it inside because it's so frequent. I have that window all lubed up, so I take it in and out, and actually found it on and quick I can get it how much it is in case I have an accident.
Yeah. He was definitely doing some moving around, looking.
Yes, and within that same email would be the handprint as a whole.
Yeah.
So the first thing I did is I did DNA collection off of 5 fingers, areas of the finger. I documented it first, then I did the collection, and then I did the latent fingerprint and lift and transfer. And I got those right here somewhere too. What it looked like as a whole.
Yeah, that's a little more significant there. That's pretty interesting. Where did he go? Oh, he's turned around. I see him now.
Yeah. So this is the handprint. Yep, you can see where I scraped across.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did a DNA collection, and I've been collecting so much DNA there, and this sebum's tough to work with, and I just keep perfecting methods. Yeah, I learned some stuff on YouTube. I mean, other than me, there's not a lot of stuff on YouTube how to collect DNA handprints from Bigfoot, you know.
Yeah. That's an interesting question. Do you think the depth of the dermal ridges would be for grip similar to dog's paws? Is rough, one way for traction.
Yes. We all have sebum, but I don't understand why they have so much. There's a lot of contradictions because this house gets slapped all the time, hard, and I've not found a handprint that suggests that it as hard as this house is hit, it must be bulletproof vinyl siding, and I wish I had some.
Yeah.
Without breaking the window, except when I was there a couple weeks ago. They hit that window so hard, I thought it was going to break it. There's not any damage, and there's no sebum.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
I know the same thing used to happen at my old place. They would hit the side of the house so hard. And we had wood siding, and I was sure that it would be cracked, but no damage.
It makes no sense.
No.
I've been in there when when they hit the corner of the house so hard. So it's a 1,100 square foot ranch with a 3-season enclosed porch off of it with a fireplace, lots of glass, nice big fish tank, all sorts of light and decorations. Yeah, that's a thumb. I'm pretty sure that one was a thumb.
Yeah, this is off a camper window. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
I've documented so many handprints that the most frequent flyer is the camper window, that emergency exit window, the rear sliding glass door, the bedrooms, the garage doors, windows, and then their vehicle. Because if they leave the garage open, they're going in the garage. The garage windows. There's several surfaces. And the more that I'm there collecting them, the more handprints there are, is how it feels. It's interesting that the email that was most important to me were the ones with the queuing response. It's interesting that those didn't go through, and I had to send those multiple times. Everything else sent no problem. Those kept kicking back. And it didn't make any sense.
What do you mean, Todd?
Well, the queuing, when I had started putting the of a picture, it'd be nice if you had one of the pictures on there. Something that looks like, in other words, when I'm drawing something like this, like, let me get the glare right, like cartoon hands.
Yeah, there you go. He puts those on the windows.
Oh,
Is what he calls queuing, for the Bigfoot to put his hands up.
right. Here, touch here. In other words,
Yes.
Yeah, and
exactly.
they did. This one I put out in the woods. I had Velcro on it. It was out there quite a while before it got anything. And there was hair attached to the Velcro. I collected that. So if you can envision this, then what I did was I got this clear polycarbonate sheets. Doug Hychak gave me the idea to do that so that they can look through the handprints with a 3D microscope. They can see it at, basically atomic level, and they can literally map it, but, see what the compounds features they are. Well, I did one of those, and it's like, I had this blue tape, so I made this big, goofy blue hand on the window. I don't think it was an hour. I had a handprint on there. And it was hot, and humid. I know risk of tornadoes. We had some storms. And it was just starting to get dark. And it was hot and humid. And I remember he was like, you want a cup of coffee? And I'm like, oh my God, it's the last thing. But he wanted to have a cup of coffee and sit on the front porch. You know what? I'm going to sit there and have one with you. So we're on the front porch, and so she's a Betalox. She has some health issues, and she's in the bedroom right over our shoulder with the window open. And like, she's right there, the three of us having a conversation, and there's the thump on the house. I'm taking my first sip of coffee. It's like, are you kidding me? And it wasn't even dark yet. It was evening though. I go walk around back. There's the handprint right next to my big blue handprint, and the sebum's running down it. What it reminded me of, Jeff, was how skim milk has like a blue tint to it. To me, it's what it looked like, and almost the consistency. And the consistency of the sebum on my hands changes, but I think weather has something to do with it. But ultimately, it dries pretty hard and kind of like a sap. In fact, when you go to wash it off, that's so that's the camper window again. That's lateral smear with 2 fingers, and just have it under blue light so you can see it. Actually, that I think was actually on the kitchen window of the camper window.
Total speculation. Maybe the dermal ridges also help protect from puncture, wounds, and/or infections, similar to shark skin, prevent parasites from attaching.
You know, and I kind of wondered, yes, something to protect them. Do you remember back, maybe it was in the 90s or the 80s, but that sticky tack the football receivers would have, they'd cover their hands with, help catch the ball.
Stick them.
Stick them, yeah. I don't know. I still have a hard time with them hitting that house all the time and not leaving a trace of that, nor doing any damage.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
No. I know it's shaken my house, a few times where, it actually shakes the house, but no damage.
Yeah. Oh, like I started saying when I was there on the porch, when they hit the house one time, well, actually, they hit it twice in a row. I could hear the energy of it transmit around the headers of the house. I could literally hear the energy transfer around me and creaking. And it did it so hard, so fast. And I was finally just sitting down, relaxing. When that happened, it made the hair on my legs stand up, not like usually your arms or something else. And I thought that was weird. And in fact, when I went outside, I had actually caught their eye reflection. It's so fast in the camera, it's tough to present. And that red shed again, they're peeking around, and how I can capture them, I'm learning, is not with a white flashlight. It's kind of like a UV blue flashlight, and I've been able to see their eye shine a speck longer, like they're not trained to it or something. And I also noticed the iPhone. Boy, when you're recording stuff at night, you need to cast that on the big screen because it picks up their eyes more than deer. It's not like it's a reflection of light. It's almost like an eye glow. It's not like what deer are doing. Caught that there many times briefly. It never blows up well to present it.
What's that noise?
Not on my end.
That's not here.
Somebody cooking dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you find it?
Yes, I did find a couple of them. I got to go pull them
Okay.
out of the junk folder and then download them real quick. So,
All right.
No.
So the cueing that has me fascinated. So these sheets of polycarbonate, I'm taping them over those surfaces that they're frequently leaving handprints on. So I just started taking a Sharpie, and so this stuff has a protective film. So I'd pull off one side, and on the back side, I'd essentially draw hands like this with a cartoon Bigfoot face, like that very first, prints we got.
Yeah. And
I would put that on the window. I'd mount it. Then I would pull the film off this side, and I document myself doing it because I don't want to have to go figure out my handprints later. And we just can't leave the same handprints. And what's interesting, as more time goes by, those handprints show up more and more. They're still on my truck cap at the fiberglass. They're embedded in there. I'll show you which print too. I lifted it off my truck and it's still there. So this Elba vernix is what that sebum is, and it has a taxonomy name now. I believe it was Shelley Covington, Montana, that established that. So Elba vernix, the vernix, I guess, is like that waxy protective layer of a newborn baby. So this is the one I lifted off my truck cap, and it was days before I saw it, what I did see prior to that was the handprints on my truck cap. So it's a white cap, rear cap, tinted windows. It was raining and was looking in and had just done it. And she had seen the black movement over there and told me to go look over there. It's like, what? And literally seeing the handprints form from the rain. So you know how water will bead up? There we go. So that's the cueing that I'm doing. So I put that up, that camper window, and I was going to sleep behind that window.
I love it.
Well, it worked.
That's awesome.
And I just being goofy, having fun with it, but it seemed to work, and it's really been working. So if you want to go to the next picture, is there?
Oh yeah, I got more.
Okay,
I gotta pull them up here. Let's see. Let's try that one.
but this cueing that they're responding. So that's another cueing too that I did. Honestly, I was running. I had a piece of polycarbonate, it was that size. So I put it up next to the original big blue handprint. So if you want to blow that up, what you're seeing is corresponding their hand. So if you see the black part opposite of the thumb, that's the sebum from their hand. And if you see up where I graphically did the folds of the fingers, that's their fingertips. So
wow, okay, I see them now. Yeah.
Yep. I did a little editing to make them stand out a little bit more. But there's a pretty good palm print. The heel, I guess.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it worked.
Oh, it worked overnight. I mean, some of these, this is why I know they were watching me. I'd be working on one out back, and for whatever reason, I might be out front. And it's interesting. The activity that will happen on the other side of the house, we're all accounted for. So they're keeping tabs on it.
Yeah.
And it's like they're responding. And that weekend was so active with those handprints. I was the monkey in the experiment. They were watching me run around and respond. And actually, I've learned to kind of be excited about it. So that's the next morning, that camper window. So what you're starting to see, the nose. I got better pictures of the nose, but if you look at the right hand, you'll start to see right near where the burst is. Yep, you can see. Yep, near where the cursor is, to the right of the flash mark. Yep, right there.
And here.
And there's fingerprints along. They're putting their hands within my hands. And I have more pictures like this. But what blew my mind, they played the game of Got Your Nose. They did a little swirl at the end of the nose. And they've done it more than once.
Huh.
It's like literally they're playing Got Your Nose.
That is amazing.
I thought so.
Yeah, the one time you were working on one side of the house and you recorded what possibly could have been one of them calling your name.
Yeah.
Your name.
Yeah. I thought about sending that, but it's to hear it how it is, you really need to play it on a good Bluetooth, like inside your car stereo, inside your car, and crank it up on the stereo. So this is the same weekend. So there's another one I put on the garage. So occasionally we used to get some on the garage, but what is new is just on the other side of the window below that is an inflatable hot tub. They originally wanted to put it on their back porch, but we were all joking with them, you'll never be able to keep a filter. It's going to be full of big, long hair. They're going to be drinking out of the thing. And so it's inside that, just inside there. So again, a new stimuli. They were coming up and looking in that. So that's the one that I finished that just before dark. And the homeowner, she actually, the angle that she was at, she saw something black move by, and I should go look. And there was fresh handprints on that. And I was a little frustrated. I couldn't capture a good picture of that in a still. I have it in the video. And again, this stuff you can see on my YouTube channel. That blew my mind, which tells me they were watching me. Clearly, they were watching me. And what I've learned there too is, like with that window, I can stand within cover of the forest, slowly approaching the hill with the right light angle, and at the right angle, I can look through that window. I can look through one of the garage windows as the overhead door is down, and I can look through and see the sliding glass door of the front porch. And if it's at nighttime, the lights are on that front porch. So you're looking through a keyhole to us. And that's how, and it makes sense. It's the only way they could move around on this property and be fast and low.
That's awesome. That's awesome that they're actually, making sense of what they're seeing and doing it. It's pretty cool.
They are so clever.
I agree.
And everything that they're doing that I'm observing exists in the primate world or exists with human behavior. Like you were a recon sniper scout in enemy territory, that if you got caught, you were going to get killed. But yet you had an objective and you think in that mindset. So you got to think low and stuff. It's all doable. Why? Yeah. And they
I love that idea though of putting those pictures on the windows. Man, that's a great idea.
Well, it was a good idea that Doug had with the polycarbonate, and I did the spin on that, just putting the Todd spin. It's one of my ADHDs, one of my superpowers, my kryptonite too, but that thinking outside the box, and it works.
Brilliant.
I have so many of them that, and that stuff's a little pricey, and I've got quite a collection up there waiting to mail, to talk to Doug again to make sure that they're actually getting seen by him. Because I think when there's so many samples and stuff coming in, that they may not know what they're getting, or even though we talked, whether you can remember, because I'm certain overwhelmed. North Carolina's got to be overwhelmed with stuff, and context matters. And once they'll go. Well, I was originally talking to them. I was going to mail those great ones in August, and I got thinking about it. Trucks and the tractor, back of that tractor trailer in August when it's 90 out. What's it, 130 in there? These prints are tough, but could they be compromised? Right. And you can lift these things with a good packing tape. I recommend Gorilla Tape, naturally. And honestly, my favorite talcum powder is, of course, Monkey Butt. That's literally the name of it.
Yeah.
And transferring them, what I do is your photographic copier paper. So if you're going to print photos at home, it transfers nice. There is forensic lifting tape. It's pricey. It is a little easier to work with. I do both at this point. I've collected so many, but those real good lifting tape and pieces and parts I save for really stellar handprints. Otherwise the rest of them Oh yeah, I dust, collect, lift. It's fun, you know. Mary saw me do one at
Yeah.
one of her outings.
Yeah. And over
Oh yeah.
at R&R's also, you brought up, you should see this forensic kit that Todd has. It is seriously legit.
YouTube and Amazon.
Yeah, YouTube and Amazon.
Yep.
But I took
I'm slowly getting all your photos loaded up here. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I took a video of Todd actually pulling prints off of a window. Yeah, if I would have known, I would have sent that over.
Yeah, there was friends of Mary's that came to her outing, and yeah, they had visitors, and they described some great behavior, the fooling around with the camper making noises, but as they exited across the campsite, which was leaving a little bit of prints, and I think that they were quadruped. Imagine when they're kicking off, if you were, even though it's hard ground, but the way you're propelling yourself, it left suggestions of these kickoffs. I don't know what else to call it. But she said after they would like tap on the camper, they'd hear a stick drag off. Well, when I came there looking, you could see multiple trails of the sticks going from the corner of the camper, dragging across where you see suggestive prints. As soon as I got to the leaves, the stick laid there. So it was fascinating. So that's I got your nose.
Yeah, I see that right here.
And there's a couple. Yeah.
That's cool.
That's
That's good stuff. That is good
Wow.
stuff.
Wow.
Got your nose.
That's cool stuff.
So are they drawing nostrils, you think, or?
Okay, so I had to double check this before I talked about it. So you can see clearly with the Sharpie, the condensed ones, what it was, the larger two circles, that Sharpie was starting to die on me because I did take a picture as soon as I deployed it. So the large smudge in the middle of the two nostrils, that's theirs.
Okay.
The big swirl right at the end of the nose, like
Yeah, right
like
here.
Yep.
Okay.
And it looked like it was touched multiple times. In fact, this one kind of had the impression that there was possibly two sets of handprints. So what I did experience when I first started doing this polycarbonate, as I expected, they found lots of other fingerprints, light ones around it. Like they knew something was wrong and they were like testing it. They weren't touching it real hard, but it didn't take them very long to leave pretty good handprints. But frankly, the best ones are always when it's on just the glass because they're smart. And I'm not tricking them. They're giving it to me.
Yeah.
I feel like because I'm looking for it, which that worries me a little bit.
Yeah.
You always got to be careful what you look for.
Yep.
I find it. So that's the left hand. And that has a couple light strikes. And typically I find that the left hand has the least defined prints and the right hand typically is more dominant, which to me, it's like the same behavior we would do. Larger brains are right hand dominant.
Wow.
And this has got to mean something to somebody way smarter than me. This is way out of my pay grade. That this response to cueing, something about the self-awareness, it shows the intelligence, the interaction. I was learning about like apes when you go to the zoo, the windows and the hand slapping, the backhand, and you really want to blow their mind. Apparently, if you take your shoes off and your socks, put them to the windows. It's a huge social thing with them. I have yet to do that over there. I just learned about that. I'm curious. If I draw big feet, will I get big footprints on the window?
You might. Worth a try. You know,
Yeah.
There's a video, Todd. There's a guy who he learns languages very, very quickly. He travels around the world. And he recently did a video where he was learning how to talk like a primate.
Yes. Yeah.
Bonobo. I don't know if you saw it.
Same one. Was he putting his feet to the window?
Yes.
Watch it. That was incredible.
It was, yes.
Yeah. Research lab in Illinois or something.
Yeah, I can't remember where that was, but yeah, I know I posted it in my group. Fascinating.
It got interaction with them,
Okay,
socialization, and the backhanding they do on the window. And that's what happened the other weekend there.
Right.
It was 9 o'clock at night. I was sticking something in the microwave. So all that clanging around, and it sounded just like big old meaty hand slapped against the window a couple times. It wasn't a bird, and
Mhm.
it was a thud, as loud and hard without breaking it. And she was in bed right there, and she came flying out of bed, coming down the hall, and she had blankets and all ahead of her. When she came out of bed, she took everything with her. And, you know, she's used to these things, but can you ever get used to it? You know?
Yeah, sometimes it gets a little overwhelming.
And it has this ever since I left. They said
Yeah.
it's really busy.
Okay, Mary, I have that video. I'm going
Don't you find it interesting that? Sorry.
Okay.
Oh, you're
Sorry,
okay.
Dave.
You're okay, David. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm
Don't you
gonna
find it-
pull that video up real quick. Go ahead, David.
Don't you find it interesting? They know how hard to hit a window or a wall without breaking it.
I do. And especially how hard they're hitting something to get our attention. But yeah, glass, and they know the difference.
Mhm.
Fascinating.
Right.
That is crazy.
Yeah, and they whacked the tonneau cover on my husband's new truck, and it was so loud. I thought for certain that they broke it, but ooh,
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they
Crazy.
just right to play a tune, because if you hit something with tonneau cover too hard, it's not going to do it. It was a bongo sound.
yes, it was. Yeah.
Yep.
Wake up, Jeff. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and play this video real quick. For you.
Okay.
Now I took this video of you, Todd, working on pulling a print. You can see the prints on that window.
Yes, absolutely.
So that window, so that was day one that we were there. Then the next day, so I had dusted it. You could see that there's kind of dust remaining over the rest of the glass. So it was in perfect condition to leave another handprint in it.
Yeah. Yeah, the night before, I was supposed to have slept in that bedroom. I had the lights on and I was moving around and changing in there, but I didn't sleep in that room that night. I slept out in the sunroom instead.
And that was the night that they played the bongos.
Yes.
I was on the porch 30 feet to the right while it did that. We were all over the place. I mean,
Oops.
within 3 days, 2 nights, they ended up 5 handprints on that window. That was the first set. And I almost sent a picture of that.
Right. Cool stuff.
And the
Very
time sure doesn't matter when the activity is.
No.
The one thing we've noticed, though, when there's snow on the ground, there's not a lot of activity. But while it is snowing or raining, they'll be very active. And you know, morning, these dry impressions, very suggestive, not proof. Total self-awareness that they leave tracks.
Yeah, they're very aware of leaving tracks, and they'll avoid that. Yeah, on the most part. Boy,
It can only be one person. Somebody's falling asleep, so
Poor buddy.
I'm not feeling good today.
oh
I'm trying.
yeah, I think you were snoring there for a little bit, just a little bit
I had
ago.
to mute him. Had to mute him a little bit there.
Yeah,
I'm here. I'm just.
aw. Well, if you're not feeling well, Jeff, you should get some rest.
Yeah, no,
Not on
we
camera.
we could take care of this. You go get some rest, Hoss.
All right.
Nighty
I
night.
believe, I believe that's all the photos I had of your.
Really?
So,
Oh, I worked on it for hours. That's too bad that they.
are you
That's
serious? A lot of them are repeats. I went through and looked at them, and they're repeats.
so I had in the beginning and at the end I had trouble sending them, and you could be the
Yeah.
repeats, but yeah, that's all of them.
Let's see.
I'll go double check, but pick something else here real quick and give me a couple minutes to go back through and see what's
Yeah,
missing.
I'll send another one, Jerry.
David, take over from
Yeah.
here. Ask some
Okay.
questions. Talk.
Oh, got it.
Jeffrey,
Yeah.
talk.
Ah,
I'll be right back.
Okay.
Yeah, I sent you another one, Jerry.
It hasn't come in yet, so
Okay.
So
be
Todd,
right
I'm kind of curious. You're talking about like the primate actions and things that they're doing. So you're believing that they're a primate, or you think that's just like an attribute, or?
No, so many of the things I've experienced, I mean, when I go looking into it, exists, already in nature in the primate world.
Yeah.
I mean, right down to the tree knocks. Boy, I recorded a bunch of those last time I was there. Same time with that chewing sound. And what was interesting with that too, you could tell it was the same tree. It just had the same tone, because once in a while it'd be a different one, different sound, but the majority of it was the same tree. It had the same note. But yeah, while we're there, I don't recall hearing any tree knocks while I was there. Now the rock clacking and whistling, oh yeah, while we're there. But I guess primates do that too. What's interesting too is, so there's an outdoor cat. For lots of reasons. Well, number one, it's alive. We believe it has a relationship with the cat.
Wow.
Coco the gorilla. Look into that and see her infatuation with cats and how gentle they are with them. Some of this activity that, like that backhand on the window, well, you look for what's changed. Well, they have these, what kind of rabbits are they? They are so cute that they look like they're fake. And they just had baby ones. Well, that cage is kind of right up to part of the window. Well, they cleaned it and moved it. And that's what I think possibly what the back slap was. They like watching these animals. They have at this home. They have a lot of pets. That big tropical fish tank all lit up. That's right in the corner of that sunroom. And
Yep.
Mary, did you see one looking in one night there at the fish tank, or was that Dave?
No, it must have been Dave. I know the night that I slept out there, I was watching, trying to keep an eye on, because I figured, well, I'm right here out in the open where they can see me. So I
Yep.
was hoping one would come up to the window, but no such luck.
So they will. It seems like this year there's a wheelchair ramp coming off that sliding glass door, this front sunroom that goes to the blacktop driveway. You can see where the cars park, and there's all sorts of decorative lights. It's interesting. They know right where the edge of the light is, where they can be, but we can't see. And again, how I know that is, I'll pick it up later reviewing my video. I will see those eyes just out there, and it's not a deer, because I know the behavior that's going on. It could be the height of it, especially the one I got looking around the camper. And as soon as I just panned the camera there, all it gets is the flash of it moving away. So when you still frame it, you're just seeing a streak of the eyes. And then in the yard too, as soon as I turn that way, you get the eye shine, but they always cast their eyes away. If they don't close their eyes, they cast them away. And as far as them illuminating with their eyes, it's another thing I didn't believe, and I don't disbelieve what people experience. We can't right now. But we have to be very objective to what we're observing. So February last year, out on that back porch, there was activity. So I'm standing back in the shadow, and so I did this talking to him. And there was house slaps and stuff going on. So I did this talking to him, and just giving it a try, And I said something about family, asked if they had kids. I'm trying, and just that intent and kindness, heart, just being non-threatening and loving. And boy, didn't I really think I saw a set of red eyes just slightly appear and illuminate more and then fade out. Actually, it started with one eye, the peak. So I had gone in the house and turned lights off to make sure that there was nothing sending light out there. So the TV was still on in the front room, but it's multiple rooms away. And then this is within the forest. There's not enough ambient light to reflect like that. I mean, I would get the different eye peaks, and then all of a sudden I'm getting eyes, and I had 4 of them across me, and further in the woods, one up in a tree that I was just getting one eye peek from, all red. So I'd be seeing them at different times. And I would say something, I can see you. That was really cool. Can I see all of you? And I saw them in sets, not just one eye. Now I saw sets, except the one in the tree back further was just still a peak, which I really feel like it was a juvenile.
Probably.
Feeling. But what was stunning to me, I can't explain this scientifically. My experience. I wish somebody else was there. And of course, I had my iPhone running and trying to do my best, hold framed up, to capture it. But knowing I'm probably not going to capture it, and I'm not going to miss this experience, for myself. One, it was closer, seemed taller, larger, but I'm not saying they were standing across. They were, staged in the woods differently. So in other words, it looked like a line, but you could tell there was different depths to them. And uniquely, they were all in places that things have always suggested that's where they stand and watch from. Once the larger, closer one, eyes lit up, then the 4 sets lit up, then the larger one, the eye glow intensified, then the next one, then the next one, then the next one. And then the eye glow on the first one went down, then the next one, then the next one, and the next one. Yeah, yeah. Like there was a diode, like they were electronically connected, went down one line into the other. And I so wish that I could have a witness to that, a recording of that, but I experienced it. And that is another one of those, because I've been in lights before and seen the red eye shine. I had problems with them emitting light. Something was emitting light. And went out there the next day. David come over and had him on the porch where I was. And I have this really powerful handheld laser. It's the most powerful laser you can have without a license. Use them for bird control, keeping birds out of vineyards. It'll shoot 5 miles effectively. So I'm using that in the daytime. Had actually Dave painting it, and I stood where I thought they were. Actually, I did it a couple ways, and paint to where it was standing. And then I would go out there as he still painted that same spot, and I would stand in it. Sure enough, it'd be there's the tree, there's the compressed area. It all makes sense. So now I've taken, those little reflective pins that you can use to lead your way into a tree stand in the dark, and I've pinned all those locations as a reference. And it has spooked R&R a few times, and I have to remind them. And actually what I ended up doing, some of them in a triangle, so you would know you're not looking at a three-eyed Bigfoot, But if something blocked the light out, or if you saw something else, it gave a fixed point of reference where you could walk up to that tree. And interesting, when I placed those pins too, again, it snowed overnight and I was following the snow footprints, the pathways, which reinforced everything. And actually it was that type of snowfall that the trackway was the absence of snow. So in other words, as they stepped, it was like the snow stuck to their foot. So it just gave the large foot outline without snow, but the stride was, again, it's all suggestive. None of it's proof, but
Right.
Man, you get enough smoke, you do think there's a fire,
Yep.
Have you guys ever experienced that? Mary, I'm sure you have.
What I've experienced was putting those reflectors up and then coming back and the reflectors are gone.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was expecting that. Those red Christmas ornaments that from cleaning out that shed,
Yeah.
in those similar spots as well. And those have all disappeared. And last winter, when JP, the researcher out of Canada, and Dave were there, it showed up on Dave's car windshield.
That's right. I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was doing it too, maybe for their curiosity, but as I look into the woods, the point of reference. And also what I did from our points of view, I would find these slots to that where they're standing and hiding, so that if we wanted a photograph or something, it's a point of reference. And I could walk a line and place survey tape, and I could go a couple 100 yards back in the woods, and again, that defilade where I look at it backwards, I can line up all those survey tapes and see that window, sliding glass door, like I'm looking through a window, but it's probably 200 yards. And all they have to be, even during the day, is, it's, and they stage in. It all makes sense, and but this coming into the yard and that risk, and those cameras that JP has.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's blob squatches and weird things. Not proof. There's, I do like those pictures. That was the same weekend where Mary was showing the video where I was up on the ladder with the handprints.
Right.
JP had put a camera in between the wheels of the camper, and something started turning the camera, and you see this big blurry brown hand
I remember that.
while, and the last thing you get is that outdoor cat coming up. I call it Chinese eyed. So
Yeah.
he'll come up to you. Oh, he does this in the dark to me all the time. Scares the crap out of me every time I go there. He'll come up and he'll headbutt your leg, do a little purr, and they'll pin their ears back, close their eyes, kind of doing the Chinese eye. That's what the cat's doing.
Yeah.
In between one of the pictures, you see it coming up and doing that. It wasn't doing it to the camera. It was a little ways from the camera. In other words, like something standing there and reaching over to the cat, and the cat's responding to it.
I had sent Jerry some of those photos of the cat. Yeah.
Yeah, that's coming. I want to play this video.
Todd, have you thought about using doing the same outline on a mirror?
I haven't yet because I think that's a lot with the sliding glass doors are there. The way the sun just strikes it, really hard to photograph, but it's just like a mirror. And I think that's why the rear sliding glass doors, for lots of reasons, but I think that's one of the reasons during the day.
Very interesting.
But I have thought about getting a mirror that stands up, take it in the woods. Yes.
A nice big one.
It's on my list. Yep.
Nice.
That might provide some interesting results.
Might be bad luck if they break it.
Anyway, we got a video here.
Yep. Mary's truck. So the handprints are low.
Yeah.
So they would have approached from behind where I am, and they're coming up, and that's where they would have played the bongo. But if you were to approach there and peek up over the back of the truck, they would have been looking across in that sliding glass window right where Mary was.
Oh,
okay.
Yep. Yeah, that's where he hit the tonneau cover right above there and
There you
tried
go.
to get our attention.
Now you can see them.
Yep. Yeah, you can see those handprints real clear. Yeah, there were those two and a couple more. Yeah, there's one above there. Yeah,
Yeah.
with you.
Wow.
Yeah, you can see the way the two hands are, like it's peeking up.
Yeah. Yeah, right up over the edge of the truck.
But there wasn't much of a handprint on the tonneau cover, and I would expect that.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, but Todd, you hit the tonneau cover and it gave out the same sound.
Boing.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're noisy. I have one on my truck. They
mm-hmm.
get your
Yeah.
attention, like banging on the or like an old Indian drum, like you used to
Yes.
get in the shops.
Yep.
Exactly what it sounds like.
Big drum.
Yeah. We have a big metal. It's huge. It's 6 foot tall and maybe 6 or 7 feet long. Big old kind of rusty metal drum thing. It's like a piece of equipment.
Mhm.
And it's in the brush, man. One night, just bong, you could hear that thing just ring just loud as could be. Bong.
I love it. I love
Yep.
it.
Mary, I got some pictures. You sent me 7 pictures, I believe.
Yes.
There you go.
Okay, yeah, that's underneath the RV, and it's possibly the cat. Um, don't know, but it's something.
So I've played with that image quite a bit. So when you focus in and out of it, it has hair, auburn colored hair all around the edges, and those are just like pads, like you'd expect their hands to look. And that's the campfire that will sit around, and they'll be right in the edge of those woods.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll take them off here so we have to see a bunch of photos lined up here. All right. I was trying something different, but it ain't working. So it is, but it isn't. Okay, we got this one.
So it's all in the same series. And when those pictures were taken, all of us were together and a few miles away. When the homeowner came home, she's got quite an eye, and she had noticed that the camera was askew. So the camera should have been looking, it's on the driveway. It should have had blacktop in it. And what you're seeing it turning the camera as it's taking. Yeah. And again, that's a hairy hand that's brownish red. And then you're seeing a calloused hand. And I can play with that image. So you can either focus on the skin, or you can get the hair edge, or you can get the color. I wasn't able to get all of that in one image. I mean, maybe somebody had some red haired gloves on while we were gone, went driveway to the camera.
Wow.
And they do just look like the folds of a hand, a human hand. JP that runs the camera project there, he's super critical, and I appreciate that. And he was showing me pictures of him moving the camera. Yes, his hand does look like that, other than the hair. Yep, when you play with the focus, you can get more of that hair to come out when you play with the contrasts and such. And it's red. Whatever that is that classic auburn color. Wow. And it's hair, or it's a very callous skin. Those are the two things. Yeah, look at the fold of that palm right there. Oh, yeah. And so I monitor the windows when I'm there, and I'll record them. This is the first thing I do when I get there. And when she had seen that camera was moved, the dinette windows right above that, and yeah, there was handprints, not great ones, but there was sebum fingerprints on the window above that.
Okay. So. There's a cat.
Yep, and look at the cat's expression. And you can tell the cat's not right up on the camera. And that camera within that view should be capturing the blacktop of the driveway. The camera's like being pointed up. And notice how the cat's eyes are closed, the ears are pinned back. I actually did a video of the cat one of the times when she approached me, and what she does, she comes up and she gives you like that rubbing headbutt. And she makes that impression. It's kind of like her saying hello, which is cool. Unless it's pitch black out and you're standing there in the darkness, she comes up behind you silently and does that. I can't get over it. I jump out of my skin a few times when I'm there, and half the time it's just the cat.
Wow. Yeah, that was the last of that sequence. Todd, I went through. I have other pictures, but they're, I believe, like an orb. You had something about an orb or something, and
yeah, that's interesting. Just a still frame of a video. I mean, if you want to put that up, because there's a couple things within that one.
But your the other photos you were referring to, I had them all up. So
wow.
Yeah, some of them are, like I said, I went through the emails. Some of them are repeats. So,
wow.
I don't know what happened.
not shocking. And when they got kicked back to me, I would know. And which I think are some of the ones that were resent, said they didn't go. Yeah, isn't that?
Yeah, I don't know what happened. That's a shame.
Yeah, Murphy's Law with Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Maybe the files are too large. That's about the only reason why.
And
That could be. That could have been. But
They
usually
want-
it'll tell you that. If
Yeah.
it makes sense.
Yeah, I noticed I couldn't send between 4 and 5 pictures. But the ones with the orbs in it, there should be a couple things in that one if you want to pull that up.
Yeah, I'm gonna go over to them now.
And the original video are on my channel. And actually, they're the first ones I ever posted. I was trying to send those to some friends, and the files were too big. It's actually how I ended up with my name. One of my employees like, well, figure out how to make a YouTube channel and put it on there. You can just share it. Oh, okay. Well, kind of thought we were making up a password. And that's where the name came from.
Okay.
But so if you go to my channel in the video list, they would be the first ones. So this is the place in Wellsville. Mary has seen these lights.
Yeah.
So there's this black blob. Now this is only a screenshot of what's there. Now that's night vision that zoomed out 200 yards. It was perfect conditions. It was a good moon. There was a little bit of snow that really helped let us shoot that far. So this black blob, only until recently when I learned how to cast from my computer or iPhone onto a big screen TV, did I realize what that black blob was probably not a tree. And I do recall the fellow that was recording that, I do recall him saying there's something there. Well, I was like, well, yeah, there's that ball of light. No, now I understand what he was saying. So this ball of light is coming from this black blob, and it goes downhill, and there's another screenshot, and it did this repeatedly. There's another screenshot of where it's before. You can see the ball of light in a couple different positions. And what I'm really looking for is for somebody to stabilize that video, and then with the other couple videos that were taken of it, overlay one another. I swear that black blob, to me, it looks like a creature, potentially, standing there. You're looking at it from its side. It appears like it slightly turns and looks behind it as this ball of light comes out of this black blob. And frankly, Mary knows my joke that I say. It looks like it's turning around going, oh,
right.
That was a good one. Yeah. Does Bigfoot shoot balls of light out its ass?
Yeah, right.
For a friend. Because then you see that thing there, and we're in the exact same position. You see how the blob's at a different angle. There's no ball of light.
Yes. Yep.
And there should be one more where actually what happens, the ball of light comes to it. But what's interesting in the video is
Let's see what I have.
the ball of light disappears. Then it comes out the other side, and that's, oh yeah, the ball of light actually is up for a little bit further. You can see it a little bit. Oh, that's hair. That's from the kill box. You can see a little bit of the length of them, and that's brown. And what's interesting too, for me to get that hair out, I got a way that I take a little tension off of those barbs, and I have to unclock the hair. So when I have to unclock it, what that's telling me, the hair is always being caught from the forest side going into the pasture side.
Yes.
Always. I mean, we're talking 50, 60 occasions.
Wow.
And that's not the long hair. If there's other pictures, I have an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper behind it, and it's longer than the paper is.
Wow.
No kid. Wow.
And I gave Doug Highcheck my best one that was like, to me now, it looks like the sebum. So it looks like a turkey beard. And if you like took long hair, a bunch of them together, twisted it up, and you took white paraffin wax to help thread it, if you're making early cordage or something, and it has a flesh tag on it. And when I captured that too, you can see in the snow large bipedal tracks that come right up to the fence, and the tracks start right on the other side of the fence again, and there's that big barb, long hair with a flesh tag on it. And I took real careful of that, and I had that several years before I got anybody's attention with it, and Doug Hijack has that one. And
There's another folder here. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I don't mean to.
No, you go ahead. I'm done.
We got a couple photos in this folder here.
So that's on the camper window, and I think I was thinking it was a thumb, and that hair was embedded in it. So I'm not saying it was a Bigfoot hair. It kind of looks like a deer hair, but were they handling deer right before it touched that window?
Very possible. Yeah.
And I collected that, forensically, and included the hair with it, documented my collection process. And Doug has that one too. Oh, so there it is. I took the camper window off when I collected it, brought it inside. So I'd already collected the hair, and I did a little dusting to reveal the dermal prints. So that's another look at it. Actually, I think I have that print behind me.
You're going to have to bring your four-wheeler so you can take me down into that kill box.
I will. So that's it right there. That's the lifting piece of tape. It's 2.5 by 6. So that's the comparison of the thumb.
Yep.
So that's the latent print. That's biochromatic dust, which is a graphite. It's a pain in the ass to work with.
Okay. And we have this one.
And that's the print as a whole.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I always tried to do something for scale. I've had that ruler since I was a kid. Fisher Scientific. My dad took their museum science supply business in Rochester, and
Okay.
had that since I was a kid.
That print is huge.
Yes, it is. That's why I scaled that photo up so you could see the bottom of the palm. And holy moly.
And I was sleeping on the other side of that window on that one. Yeah, it can be spooky sleeping in there. I keep myself ready to go, let's say, and defend. But probably the best one's probably the truck alarm, key right there, and the light.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to do anything. I don't know.
Gina from upstate New York.
Hey. She must have activity. I mean, because that's usually what starts all this with us. I mean, we start being interested, but we dive in further because we have experiences.
Now we're
Mhm.
into the FLIR photos.
Oh, so that was so much fun. So that is walking up from the driveway up that wheelchair ramp. So I blew it up. So that's between the house would be to the left, and to the right of that image would be the garage. And they come in between that house and that garage. I don't understand it. It's the way they can get boxed in. But there is a brush pile in front of that image that leans out and looks at me. That's at least 8 feet tall. At least.
Right here.
Yep. I actually have that. I had that spot pinned prior with one of those reflective pins. The only reason I caught that is I will put my cell phone on a selfie stick and I'll be filming behind me more than anything. And as I was just to walk up that ramp, I wasn't even looking. I just held the camera that way, and that had leaned out right before I walked around the corner of the building. And I think I even leaned back out for the heck of it one more time. So if you go through a couple photos, you'll see how it changes position.
Okay, so we'll start here. Next one should be here.
And you can see a little bit of the house to the left, but so the other one was zoomed in some, but you're seeing it shifting.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
You actually see more of it than the second photo here.
Yeah. Yep. And with that little bit of white blur, I think it's actually caught moving between the two trees.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is a little thinner now, a little skinnier, like it's standing still.
Yep. And it's behind a line of brush, and then it's behind trees. Yeah. And it's amazing how
tree here.
I had to trick it to catch it. So it's like that they think that we can see them, and this is pitch black.
Yeah.
And I've done this trick several times here, and I caught something this time.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back real quick through all photos, just so you can see. Just pay attention to the white spot here. Definitely moving, for sure.
Yeah. So me on the ground, essentially moving from right leg to left leg. I did zoom one of them in, and no, the camera's not perfectly still because I'm trying to look like I'm not recording also.
That's awesome. Good catch.
I've been expecting to find something there. Well, based upon what the view offers them, what the view does for them to their benefit. And then the cover that they have. It's got to be one of the ways that they monitor us.
Yeah.
To get away with what they do.
I think we've seen all the stuff that Jeff sent me, and of course the ones that you sent me later. I think that's all I have. I'm gonna go back and check the junk mail real quick.
Okay.
Just to make sure we got them all.
Yeah, Todd, there was that one night that I was in my van.
Yeah.
Getting ready for bed. And you go ahead.
We do this stuff with friends, but it still seems like when the experience happens, you're by yourself.
Yeah.
Really, it's like seeing a ghost by yourself. It's like seeing a UFO by yourself. You really don't want to see it by yourself because you can't believe, you don't even want to believe yourself. So we've been sitting around that campfire, and Mary's got this awesome little van set up. It's parked right next to the camper. So if you remember the cat photo, it's looking towards that. So this is all pretty close to me. This is crazy. This is all happening. I mean, you think of these Bigfooting expeditions, it's like, well, I'm gonna go squatching. I might put my shoes on, but I'm taking my coffee with me. Real rough. Anyways, around the campfire, we had some activity that night.
Yeah.
But it was no moon. It was pitch black, So I had my FLIR and then that seek that, you know, attaches to your iPhone. And I rose in that going to bed stage. And I had gone in to the camper too and taken off. I call my feel like a Batman utility belt. Got all my different stuff on it and protection on it too. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh, damn, I left my Scout thermal out by the fire. It's like, man, I want to go out and get it. But what popped into my brain was, you know, it's the last thing we need is Bigfoot with night vision watching us, you know. I go out and get it. It's pitch black. And I know about where everything is in the dark. And that, again, that red shed. And I just stepped out from that shed, and there was something that had caught my attention. And I think I was going to take a leak, and I wanted to move away from everybody because, you know, going to bed. And I had my hand on the FLIR, and there's like a little like end table, you know, camping stool, whatever you want to call it. And I had the phone purposely turned down, just even that light of it affect my night vision. And it was creepy, and it's pitch black. Something could be right in front of me. So I didn't want any other ambient light. And I was unarmed, and I'm taking care of business. And I look up to the trees. I see this star. I think it's a star. This is right on the edge of the woods, and it's above one of these areas where I know they watch. And I've always been really interested in this one tree in particular, this nice huge beech nut that has this limb way up that comes out with a saddle, big too. And it's like, man, that'd be a great place to, you know, hang a stand, and plus you'd have a natural stand in that approximate area. So all of a sudden now the star's like moving, there's that playing headlights. I'm trying to debunk it, and I could see it, then I couldn't. I'm trying to figure it out. You know, the leaves are out. And all of a sudden, I see these two lights shaped like this. And I'm still trying to figure out how that plane must be a plane behind that. Still trying to figure it out, look at it. And I wanted to get the camera, and I picked it up, the iPhone. And again, just the light of the screen. It's like, man, I got to set that down. I can't see. And I look back up, and sure enough, now I'm seeing these big cat eyes. And this is 40, 50 yards away, maybe more like 40 yards. And they kind of do a wink, and it's one of those, I'm still trying to process what I'm seeing. Is it one of those balls of light? Because it was a bluish white. All of a sudden, the lights winked out, and I heard this disturbance on the tree. And this was way up in the tree. And there's like it did a fireman pull down the thing. And I'm like, whoa. And then, hey, you want to YouTube this for me? Can you search the Predator sound effect? Can you look that up and play that once?
Okay.
You look that up, Miss Mary. I did find a video, another video, or an orb video you sent me.
Okay.
I'm going to play that real quick. Yeah, David, have her maybe email. You guys can exchange an email or something.
Yeah, that
Could be.
And then,
you see how well rehearsed I am in this stuff.
yeah, putting your phone number out there is a little dangerous. But
Okay.
Gina, we'd love to maybe have a conversation with you if you want. It's up to you. But I'll leave that in Cracker's hands, David's hands there. So. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and play this real quick, Todd.
Okay.
Notice that black
See.
blob where it comes from?
Yes, right here.
Yep. And it suggests that the thing is its upper torso is turning like behind it looking. So there's a couple of the videos, and that's where I'd like it stabilized in one layer
Again.
so you can see if it is moving.
Well, I thought I remembered you saying.
Does it a couple times, I think.
Yeah, if you pay attention to it, yeah, I can see some movement. I also see the orb as well.
That's it.
Oh, that noise. That's creepy. That's something from Predator, man.
That is.
Yeah.
It is.
Isn't that crazy? I'm going to play that video play again. The
Sure.
orb video here. What did you say that audio is from?
The movie Predator.
Yeah,
I was going to say, yeah. Okay.
Yep. That's from the movie Predator sound effect. And we'll finish watching this one.
If you watch right here, anybody, it's right here.
Yep.
In this area, you'll see the orb
Well,
in front
Trevor
of this blob.
and Trevor did a really good job with that. And it makes sense because he was just out of airborne in a very specialized group of airborne guys that use a lot of night vision. And that was 220 yards. You know, it's one of those, I had tripods, but had we known that was going to happen, we'd have it on one.
Yeah.
But that's the area where we repeatedly, Stan Gordon calls this place Skinwalker Ranch of the East. The things that I've experienced there, green glow of light, green columns of light, all these orbs coming together and making one big one and flashing. That's on my channel. I've posted several, but I mean, I guarantee we could go right there tonight and see them. I don't see them in the summer because of the foliage.
Right.
But they're there. And I can't say that they're related, but boy, they seem to be in the same place, and it's what led to my juvenile sighting. Correlation does not mean causation. But back to that sound, this sound effect you just heard, what was so similar was that oscillation frequency, but that, how you can change your voice as you open your mouth, your diaphragm, the sound of your lungs, and how that sound went up and down, and like its mouth was open more and less. The cadence might have been a little bit different, but this is so similar. It was stunning, and so I was seeing some kind of light up in that tree, and it looked like it was like this and blinked out. Something came rapidly down that tree. You hear the disturbance on the ground, and then that sound started right at me. And of course, I'm thinking, it's like, I go to get my phone to start the video. So again, as soon as I flip the phone, that light, because it was that dark, I wasn't worth filming, losing what was happening immediately next to me. And I was unarmed. Not that would probably do any good. I felt one of the scarier moments I've experienced doing this, plus because it was so unusual. And then that sound went away, and it went away fast. And I've been in this woods, and you can kind of picture how far away it is and how far away it's moving. Then right in front of me, 25 feet. So I'm around that campfire. If you remember seeing that picture in the woods right there, right in front of me is the same sound. So something was there the entire time as the other one was making this demonstration. But this one did it the same way, but it had a different voice, if that makes any sense. It wasn't a carbon copy, did it the same way. Frankly, it sounded like it had perhaps a smaller chest cavity, implying to me young.
Juvenile. Yeah.
And this one starts doing it to me. I'm sort of frozen, but I'm curious as hell. And I'm not going to turn around and run. You can't. And I'm not gonna. It's not what I do. I mean, trust me, I'll run when I know it's right. But I didn't feel like it was right. And actually while this one was doing that in front of me, and it wasn't a bear clicking its teeth, it was guttural. It was making it with its mouth and the clicking back of it, almost like a real mature buck can make in the rut. If you rarely hear that, kind of that diaphragm clicking sound. But like its mouth was opening and closing and it was projecting it at me. Then that other one that moved off like a string came back. It moved off at least 100 yards, came right back, and all of a sudden was at the base of that tree, the same area. Now that one was doing it while this one stopped. And that was freaky how fast that moved. Then, ways off, a few hundred yards, there is this open field that begins, and way off in the middle of that, I hear deer. You know how they'll do that snort blow alarm? I hear that way off in the field in response to those sounds. So it was implying to me was that deer knew what that sound meant, and it was warning the other deer that were a couple hundred yards away of what that was going on, and they were aware. So I start backing up away from it, and now I am fumbling with my phone some, trying to record, but yeah, I can hear Mary moving in her van, getting ready for bed. So as I'm backing up, all of a sudden now I come into a motion light. And again, now I'm the one that's lit up, and it creates that black wall around me. That scared me even more because now I can't even see anything, and I'm totally lit up. And I was just outside Mary's van, but I don't know why I didn't knock. I was afraid of startling her, and I did her, get out here. And I texted the woman of the house too, because everybody was just getting to bed. And the only thing I knew to do was to go around to the front of that garage, which was like behind where Mary's truck was parked in that one video. So as I was putting my back against the wall, so that you only have one spot to fight. You don't have all areas to fight. And it continued making the noise. Now I'm getting my phone ready. I'd sent my messages, getting my phone ready, and still doing it some. And actually, I don't think it was doing it at the moment, which made sense because I was out of sight. So now I'm ready to record. So if you recall that other FLIR video, there's in the breezeway between the garage and the house. I got that video right. And I think at this point, the other one was making a noise. Got my camera zoomed in, all ready to go. And I'm going to pop out, unscreen myself. I have trouble with my vision up here, my peripheral vision. There was a hanging plant. When I popped out, I clocked myself, and it scared the shit out of me.
Oh man!
I got a video. He's like, "Wow!"
Oh, crap.
Nobody else would have seen it, but lots of time, especially at night. If it's right here, I might not see it. And it's weird. And yeah, so I then get that, and after that, that's when everybody came out and it had stopped, and that was really interesting to hear. And this cloaking effect that people talk about.
Yeah.
And that night before I saw the juvenile, remember I was talking about the two logs in the woods. Well, that's one of the ways what the guy saw like inches over my shoulder as my head was against the camper dinette window. I had asked him what he saw, and he goes, well, if it was a ghost of a Bigfoot, he saw ghosts. So if it was Bigfoot cloaking, he saw Bigfoot cloaking.
Wow.
That's what melted his brain down. And that fellow's not a snowflake. That week, he just got back from in-field training with some very specialized targeting equipment, SAS. So his customer group is DevGru. So it's, all the special forces. And to this day, I don't know exactly what he can't tell me what he works on, and he's former Marine. And you really got to play up having that customer base when your customers are named Mongo and stuff like that. So where I'm going with it, this predator effect people talk about, this cloaking, what I experienced, there was one more element too I'm forgetting, but it seems like you wonder with the movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, AI, Arnold Schwarzenegger is at the root of all this. Right? Terminator, where the machines become aware and they start attacking.
Yep.
I suspect.
Well, Elon
It's
said just the other day, I think on an interview, that in about 10 years, AI, the robots will be plentiful
Right.
enough. And,
Right? I think Arnold Schwarzenegger has all the answers.
yep.
We should get to the chopper.
it's scary. It's scary how some Hollywood things
Yeah.
may be real.
Yep.
Predator. That's honestly. I mean, I'm not no Bigfoot expert or nothing. That's the first I've heard of anything with that predator noise.
Yeah,
that
that me
you're
too.
explaining.
Yeah.
And
So-
Men in Black. Men in Black there's no doubt what that is, and there's no doubt it's real in my mind. Anyway, it's amazing. It's
Yeah.
amazing, and it makes you wonder: do they have an inside connection that somebody that really knows?
Right.
It just
Steve
makes you wonder.
Spielberg knows something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And real
If
quick,
it-
Gina, I promise you, nobody here is going to think you're crazy or a liar.
No.
Would
Oh.
be very happy to talk to you here. Nobody in this chat's going to think you're crazy.
Nope.
So,
Nope.
just so you know that, please feel comfortable to reach out to us.
Yeah.
Anyway, so anyway,
I think
So
all
Todd, how does that affect your thought on like a primate? I mean, does that like boggle your mind on it that they could do like the eye light up and then the cloak?
that it does. My understanding, there's a lot of contradiction with that, but yeah, there is, self-illuminating things that exist in nature. I don't know, or is it that it's really still is a reflection that we're seeing, and it's their eyes taking up light.
Mhm.
I don't know, but I'll tell you, those 4 sets that I saw go across, and just like there was a diode attached to them, turning up the volume, connected one to the other. What does that mean? Because they weren't standing right next to each other, and there were definitely different depths within the woods. Maybe it was just coincidence, assuming these creatures exist at all. That communication between them. Yeah. What's that suggest? Yeah, it this whole thing blows my mind, and I think that's why I stay interested, because
Mhm.
it keeps changing.
Yeah.
I am really torn inside with a couple things. One is spiritually. It's just something I shouldn't be messing with. I torn with that. And the other one is I'm afraid of it being weaponized and affecting private property rights. That's a huge concern of mine.
Mhm.
I'm very, very torn over that.
I'm constantly praying, for
Yeah.
guidance, that, this is where God wants me, that, I am doing what God wants me to do. And if I have any sign at all that he doesn't want me to continue in this field, then I'm out of it. I'll get
Yeah.
out immediately.
Yeah. Yeah. I used to dose at a museum. And this is like around 2000. Of course, things happened there, and one thing led to another. So early on, I was into this paranormal research, and I'm a Christian, and I always felt like I was communicating with history. I'm a huge history nut.
Yeah.
And then I had experiences, and then things follow me home. And I'll tell you what, that's where I say you got to be careful what you look for. You might find.
Mm,
I won't touch that stuff with a 10-foot pole.
nope.
That's for real. And again, I'm not here trying to convince anybody of anything. It's my experience. You'll have yours. You know?
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to have kind of a problem with being Christian myself, like the alien, the others, and how could it be, or is it does it one go against the other? And
Right.
pretty much I've kind of come to believe that they can fit within the same. I don't know the word I'm looking for, in the same book, and still be God, and like heavenly hosts. That's kind of what I believe that possibly could explain.
It seems like it's being proven more and more.
Mhm.
What's the wheel in the sky?
Ezekiel.
Ezekiel, yeah.
I mean, boy, does that look like so many of the descriptions.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. One of his creations. Yeah, I try to, I love Dan Aykroyd, and I try to follow that advice of don't cross the streams, Egon.
Yeah. Right.
No,
Yeah.
and I try not to, I keep approaching this scientifically in flesh and blood as a primate, but because of life experiences, I'm not closed off to this other activity, and I'm trying to not make one related to the other, but it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
But still, at the end of the day, I have no proof. You know what I mean?
Well, on that, I'm of the mindset that it's why not be both? That, hey, it could be science, future science, more advanced science that we haven't discovered yet.
Yep.
But it's advanced science.
Yep.
I agree.
I do agree with that. They just have features and abilities that we no longer have, we don't have, or we haven't tapped into, we haven't discovered yet. That's all. We're discovering stuff nonstop.
This earth is anywhere from 12,000 to millions of years old. So, depending on what you believe in. So no matter what, there's ancient civilizations that were here long before we were here.
Yep. I do a lot of that too, Indian artifacts, and I have a lot of stuff that, because of the petroglyphs and effigies they're making, so many of them are mastodons, so that sets a time frame.
Mm-hmm.
I've shown you some of these. Dang it, don't they look like a Bigfoot? If these things have been here, they've always been here. And if the Indians are pecking and forming shapes of buffalo, owls, mastodons, their grandfathers, why wouldn't they do these creatures too?
Yeah. I
have more homework to do on this before I present it. And again, it's something that's only suggestive, but boy, it's suggestive.
whole lot of questions in it. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the more you think you know, the more questions you just can't find an answer for. It's crazy.
Always get schooled.
It's crazy.
The journey's fun.
It is. It is. You by far. It amazes me some of the ideas you've come up with, and it worked. You got proof that
Yeah.
it's amazing, and that's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah,
Really
it's been
enjoyed
fun.
that. Yeah.
Well, I
It
have
is
good
amazing.
teachers. Like I always learned something from Mary. It's the people are the funnest part.
Yeah.
You know.
I agree.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a saying on, I'm trying to remember what it is about. I think it was Robert Heinlein, a science fiction author, who said magic is, oh, doggone, I can't remember what he said, but it was to a medieval person,
Right.
our science would appear as if it was magic to someone back in medieval times, and so for us, advanced science right now looks like magic.
We'd be burned at the stake.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yep. That's so true.
yeah. Any advanced civilization, I can't remember. Doggone, I'll think of it later. The same.
It makes you wonder what the beliefs of them are. What's Scott Carpenter, would go to your property or would tell you to go to every corner of your property, and I forget the word he used.
Bind
To,
and rebuke.
Rebuke. That's it. I rebuke you in
Yep.
the name of Jesus Christ, away from this property or whatever.
Yep.
I assume it works. According to him, it works. So.
It does work.
And others I know have done
Yeah.
it too.
It does work. But it's like almost the same thing with these creatures and like ghost hunting. There's stuff that it appears to be benign, and there's other ones that are malignant. And I don't know why that is, but this our site. I mean, I think Mary agrees. Yeah, we get spooked and scared, but at the end of the day, I think they're just screwing with us and setting their boundaries with us.
Here's some pretty good words right here, and I agree with it.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. So the
It's-
bottom line is here, real quick. What do you think they are? What is your opinion? What do you think they are, Todd?
I'll let Mary go first.
My opinion has changed so many times. I still don't.
Same.
Crazy.
What
Well, thank you.
here's
We're about to change our opinion.
here's the saying. It's by Asimov, another science fiction author. Any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic.
Mm-hmm.
But what do I think they are? I think they are a mixture of an unknown primate, undiscovered unknown primate, just a branch, another branch of the hominid tree, but hybrid, along with not Nephilim, but something similar to Nephilim.
Or a descendant of.
Yeah. I don't think they're descended from the Nephilim. I honestly don't. I think it's similar to Nephilim. There are other beings. There's about 100 other beings. The angelic, in the angelic realm, like the cherubim and the seraphim,
Right.
and so on.
Right.
There's about 100 of them, and it's possible that they are a hybrid with one of
Right.
them.
Right.
Don't know.
Makes sense to me.
There's a new channel coming out. Chad Black. It goes by Black here. He's in chat right now. The what is it? I forget what his new name is. It's going to be starting next month, I believe. And these are some of the things that he's going to delve into. He's going to die. He's not going to be afraid to go down rabbit holes and
Good.
bring up some really good topics, I think. And he's going to do a hell of a job with that channel. And I'm looking forward for that to start. So
Yeah.
that's probably a good start for you, Chad,
Hmm.
to dig into the subject and see, the different realms, the different possibilities, that one could lead to think what these things are. Because there's so many possibilities.
Yep.
You hear about the the Christian part of it. It's just so hard to grasp it all, of what they could be.
Yeah.
The rebuking and it working. Makes you
Yeah.
think, okay, well,
Yeah.
they fear God. Obviously, they fear God.
Right.
If
Yeah.
if you
And then-
rebuke it and it stops, it goes away
Yeah.
instantaneously. Hey, yeah,
And
and
then
you too,
there's
Erica. Erica's going to be part of that too. Erica and Chad's going to have a hell of a channel there.
okay, great.
Can't wait for it to start.
Yeah,
I'm
their
sorry.
response to the shofar.
Right.
Oh
and-
yeah,
Yeah.
yes. The shofar is another thing.
Yeah.
And I believe you've witnessed that yourself,
Personally,
With
oh
Kumbo,
yes, several times. Yes,
and it works.
it does. Scarily so. Yes.
I don't think I could handle. If I was with a group of people, I guess I could stand there and I think. Do I want a shofar that's the proper one and find
No.
the proper time? I don't want no parts of that.
No, no, I do not suggest it or advise that at all because it's extremely dangerous.
I'm
Extreme.
like,
You
I'm
have
kidding.
you have, you
Howard,
have those that'll blow it and don't care because
Yeah.
they think differently. But unfortunately, one day when they find that right voice of God, it's going to be
Right.
a problem.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
please think
Just like Todd said, careful what you wish for.
That's exactly
Yeah.
right.
because we got ourselves in a very dangerous situation the one night, and if we would have done something again, God knows what would have happened. I don't think it would have been pretty, and I don't think we would have survived.
And a rebuke just might not have been enough that particular instance. And the thing is, it's anywhere. You can use that thing anywhere. It doesn't have to be known in a known or used in a known area. He's used it in several
Really?
different states, and it worked.
Really?
Mhm.
So
Wow.
they're everywhere. In my opinion, that's what blows my mind away. Is they're
Yeah.
really everywhere.
Right?
Yeah.
And Kumbo and you all have proved that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, a very dangerous way to
Yes.
see it. But, I'm looking over here. I'm sorry because the video is lagging back, and I keep going back to that stuff that you're putting on Windows, and it keeps popping up over here on my own screen, and it's like that is so cool. It's so cool how that stuff's working. You lure them right in. That's to get them to do that.
That's so much that just, you got to follow the science and
Yeah.
it just, the repeatability with their activity and their behaviors where we go,
I know what it is.
it's primate behavior over and over, but a whole lot of weird mixed in. It doesn't, go ahead.
Up top, David. I'm sorry. The Oddcast Podcast. That's what the name of the channel is. I have the little logo of it above Mary there.
Oh, okay. Oh, I got it now.
That's
Yeah.
going to be the new one coming out, the Oddcast Podcast, and Chad's really going to delve into
Yeah.
all sorts of cryptic, all sorts of.
There.
There you go.
So
Right there.
that's going to be a cool thing, and of course Adam also is coming out. Cryptid Fan 94, he goes by. He's starting one here soon too, and
Wow.
he definitely is not afraid to jump down rabbit holes.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely for sure.
The amount of podcasts, YouTube channels out there, the content,
Oh my
And
gosh.
every week there's new stuff. It's like there's been an endless supply of information, and a lot of it is people coming out,
Yeah.
because the environment's safe to
Yes.
tell their story, and
Finally.
yeah, and
Yes.
it's so repeatable. It's why people ask me what I think they are. They're an oxymoron, and what I mean by that is, you look at some of their like features, and okay, so to avoid us, well, obviously they have a great sense of smell. Well, then that requires all these olfactory glands. Well, that would give you a nose and a face like a dog or a deer, right? Well, they don't have that. They got a very small nose. I'm sure they have a lot of olfactory glands, but they have that keen to be able to avoid us. Their eyes might be a little different to avoid us. That one I'm not sure about. But their ears, how many times do you hear a report of the size of their ears?
Mhm.
They're really small. Well, among the abilities to remain unseen is that awareness. Well, wouldn't they have huge ears that would cup independently to hear? They don't have that. And there was a couple other features. I forgot what they were along the way, but that's what I mean by an oxymoron, that something that had all these skills would probably half look like, well, shit, dog man. I don't
I was getting ready to throw that at you.
damn.
I was getting ready to throw the dog man thing at you.
I never thought about that before. Yeah, I don't like that one. If I saw
A lot of
that,
people don't.
I'd be a scaredy cat.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
I don't want to see one of those. Nope.
And again, people are seeing something, and they're getting evidence, and they're casting the prints. Incredible people too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very credible people.
Yep.
Yeah.
With everything to lose by coming forward. Yeah.
That is 100% correct.
Yep.
Wow. What a show. Not that we're done yet, but what a show.
Yeah.
Been awesome.
Mary, you've been hiding him. Dang it.
I have suggested him a few times.
Yeah, I know you have. And I wish I had the time to watch everybody. I definitely will be catching up on Bigfoot New York Todd on YouTube. Bigfoot NY Todd. It's the NY. Bigfoot NY Todd, just like
Yep.
his name is on the screen. Get
That's-
over there, check his channel out, subscribe.
Yes, thank you. And by doing it too, it helps with the algorithm, because with the word Bigfoot and Todd, you get Todd standing. Even when I go to look up my channel to do something with it, nothing against Todd.
Yeah.
It's just the way the search goes. So it helps me more people, that do that. Nothing's edited. Not selling anything. I'm just recording my experiences, what I'm seeing, what's happening. And frankly, I can't capture half of it. I could really use a camera person, and I
Wish I lived closer.
right.
I mean, I'm probably 6 or 7 hours, about 7 hours away, probably.
Yeah. And that makes it tough. You're down by Lancaster also?
Yeah, I'm actually just over the line into Maryland, northeastern Maryland.
Yeah.
Along the Susquehanna River, yeah.
Okay.
Lancaster's probably 40 minutes away.
Heading down there next week. I have the Eastern Winery Expo.
Yep.
So
Yep.
in Lancaster, there's a lot of there.
Oh, yeah, there's some stories. Ain't that right, Mary? There's some stories out of the Lancaster County area along the river,
Oh, yeah.
starting with the owl twitch. And
Quite a few. Yeah. Yeah.
in fact, Jeff got a report from somebody he knows. I don't know the person, of a pale walker.
A what?
Of a like a skinwalker type
Oh,
thing
yeah.
that he had mentioned. A guy had seen scale the fence at Muddy Run Reservoir. Oops, I shouldn't have said that, but that's where it was at. But anyway, interesting area, because there's been reports of other things out of there. We'll just leave it
Yeah.
at that. Yeah.
Yeah, the Albatwitch is out of Lancaster County.
Apple snitch.
Yep, apple snitch.
Apple snitch.
Yeah, the Pennsylvania Dutch call it the Albatwitch.
I love it.
And
Love
they
it.
have a festival there once a year.
Yep, I spoke there a few years ago.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Did
And,
you like done a couple events, where Mary and I were together? It's where I met her at one of those. And it's amazing the people that come up tell us their stories. I so wish I could have a camera, a microphone of the authenticity of this. It's only happening because of the environment that it's mind numbing. And because I have to remind myself just to shut up
Hmm.
and let the people talk.
Yeah.
And what I like to remind myself is like, oh, I gotta be quiet because you know what? I know my story. I don't know theirs. I know their story. It's amazing.
Yeah, because that's all they want. They just want someone that'll listen to them without laughing at them.
Yep.
And it can be heartbreaking sometimes,
Yep.
to listen to them and hear the ridicule and harassment that they've gone through. And that and the amazing stories that you hear.
And it just more and more. Carrie Arnold's the one that cracked me because, like I said, mine occurred in 1972. I was pretty young, and it lay dormant in the back of my mind, and then it just was something. It reoccurred in my head again through conversation, and then finding out. I don't want to get into it here. That the possibility was very true, because my aunt, less than a mile away, Flight of the Crow, had the same incident, same time frame.
Wow.
Where she's
Wow.
since passed, and I've not been able to talk to her about it.
Right. Right.
And she had almost an identical. Where hers was through, I think, a kitchen window. Mine was through a bedroom window.
Wow.
Plus the eye shine here. I've had everything but a track or a thermal. I've had everything but I just got a thermal, so I haven't been out using the thermal. I've had everything but a track or a thermal. I've heard audio. There's no doubt about it when you hear it. There's no. I don't know. You can't miss it. And eye shine is freaking creepy. That pale yellow is something you'll never forget. And just the way they are, the way they move. I mean, those eyes they go straight down. Like my occurrence was, they dropped straight down, and those eyes didn't fare one way. They went straight down, staring at me, and that was fast.
Yep.
Gone.
Yeah. They, like any other animal, would stay and look. These things just always, like, they know that we can see their eyes. And they think
they're sizable,
Yeah.
not huge, but they're sizable and they're far apart.
Right.
Not a deer. I've seen deer. I actually
Right.
see deer here every summer night coming home from a tractor pull. The headlights shine on. They act a certain way. They all do. These things, they just straight down at you, man. There's no denying what they are. And I know what I've seen in the window.
Right.
I might have been young, but come on. It was the boogeyman, but it wasn't the boogeyman.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I don't know where I was leading up with that. But to tell my story, Carrie Arnold, man, I was this close to just making a phone call. He kept telling me, just call me, and I never called him. I wish I would.
Oh,
Of course, now you can't call him no more.
no.
That was tragic.
Yeah.
It was terrible. I always loved Carrie's work, and of course, then Jeff went on Spencer's. We were out of town pulling when he did his show, and I said, "You know what? It's time." But Spencer had contacted me about a year before, and I had just had an injury here on the farm, and that was the last thing on my mind at the time. I was worried about doing a show about Bigfoot, but I finally said it's time to just go ahead and tell the story. So far, nobody's given me too much criticism about it. So, yeah, but, I can only tell you what I have seen. So far, people have listened, thankfully. Now we're doing this to learn more.
Well,
That's
tell
why I
us
do the show, to learn more.
what'd you see.
Oh, not now. Take forever. What did I see? I saw a ghoulish something in the window with bulging eyes. Okay. And they were far from chubby face up in here, kind of a grayish, a darker a grayish skin with a little bit of hair stringing down off of here, and a flat. The thing that sticks out biggest in my mind is the flap of skin below the chin. Okay, there was a roadway. If I'm laying in bed right here and I'm looking out this bedroom window, which is 4 feet away, maybe at the most, it's snapping its head to the left and back, to the left and back, looking at the road like it's looking at like there's maybe a car going up the roadway. And this is right at daybreak. Okay, it was daylight enough to see what was there, but you could see that flap of skin every time that head would snap. You know.
Interesting.
So, and I'm thinking, and another thing, and I remembered a noise after it had step back and look at the wind again. That's gone, and you can hear that, "Argh!" like he saw me, kind of like a
Right.
grunt. You know what I mean? And I remember the eyes had just a little bit of a milky substance to them.
Wow.
If that makes sense. Maybe like it might not a
Cataract.
reflection, but like a milk.
So maybe it was an older one and
Oh,
had
it's definitely older. It was definitely an older one.
cataracts because
Yeah, cataracts.
Mhm.
primates.
I was thinking maybe does something with reflective eyes have a milky? I don't know. I'm waiting for it.
Interesting.
I dropped
Yeah.
one of them pin things. I'm trying to get it before I forget about it. But and then, like I say, I could go on for an hour. But
So what do
rather
you
than
think they are, Jerry?
What do I think they are?
Yes.
Thought of everything. Nephilim was like the biggest thing pushing me, but I think there's some flesh and blood about them, obviously. Uh, something way beyond what we are. They have some very special talents. So I think they're unworldly, such as not so much alien, but something of a higher ruling, higher, like godly, maybe, but not godly. That's what I think. I mean, you can't explain their abilities to be, literally rattle your bones when they scream at you.
Yeah.
Their movement, it's almost like they float. They don't even touch the ground. It seems like they're so smooth and they're fast.
Yeah.
I don't, and incredibly strong, I'm sure. I mean, come on, they break trees, right?
Yes.
I've never seen one with my eyes do it, but I think there's plenty of people out there that know what broke this tree or that tree or whatever. So, and I have a picture. I've only showed maybe 1 or 2 times on the internet that I got. I believe it was last year, David. I'm trying to remember. Over here at a campground that's got a history, and I'm not sure what it is. But I've shared it around. Of course, I've gotten the pareidolia, which that's BS. It's not pareidolia. I know it's not pareidolia. And we when we go to that campground now, we're a little more careful about how much we cover up the front windows of that RV to keep the cats from being seen.
Oh.
And I did get a second photo of that area. Unfortunately, with less leaves on the trees because it was in the fall when we went back, and there was nothing there this time. So something triggered the camera. Different times of the night, but I'm like coons or something run through there and trip the cameras. But whatever the first time that I actually got the photo was, there was nothing in the foreground to trip that camera. So whatever that was tripped that camera that I got the picture of. So and
Wow.
I'll send it to you privately. I try not to, because the photo's a photo. You can't. There's nothing to prove.
Yeah.
Especially when it's pitch black, and
Yep.
But surprisingly, my 5 and dime camera did a hell of a job getting at whatever that is. Now,
Love to see
bring
that.
it. I will send it to you. I will send it to both of you. Yeah, David, I think I may have sent it to you. I don't know. Pretty sure I did. No, I'm sure I did.
You played.
He
with
might.
them?
He's probably one of the ones who told me it's pareidolia.
No.
I'm just.
Yeah, I've seen. I love it. I think it's an awesome picture.
Hey, you remember seeing it? Okay.
Yeah, oh yeah.
99% to you or not.
If you,
You know-
try playing with the photo, as far as the contrast, vibrance.
Yeah, I did change a few things on it.
Noise. Yeah.
I kept an original copy, obviously.
Yes.
And there's a couple different ones, and all right. Let me pull it up real quick. I hate to show it on here, but
All right. Cool.
and I've got big shoulders. If you feel that you don't see nothing, that's fine. But the people who have said, "Whip it out, Jerry," just for you, Leanne.
Yeah.
The people that have had trouble trying to see anything there was using a cell phone. But anybody that I've had use a computer
Mhm.
or a decent tablet has said, "I see
Yep.
it."
Yep.
And one of the people I sent it to could care less. He's one of my co-hosts on my shows on Wednesday nights. He's seen it right away on a cell phone yet. And that really impressed me.
Wow.
He said, "Oh, I see it. Yeah, wow." This is his words. He goes, "No kidding. There's something there." All right. Give me a minute. Say something, David.
Dave, what do you think they are?
Well, from my childhood, like from the experiences from childhood, I thought just they were flesh and blood, just some monster, like a
Mhm.
flesh and blood monster. And like you guys, the more you dive into it, the more you kind of, I don't know, the more you start to wonder, the abilities they seem to have. For me, one of the big things, like for me, like when I was young and I heard the one walk up to the house and then it cracked the plywood and then ran off, it was like boom, boom, boom. I mean, you could feel the ground shaking. But then in 2019, when we caught the one on the edge of the road at that night, and we lit it up, not lit it up, but my little green headlamp reflected the eye. That thing somehow ran through rainforest. I mean, in like a half a second without making one twig snap, one rustling sound. To me, as being a hunter and outdoor, a hiker and outdoors person, to me, that stunned me probably more than about anything.
Yeah.
Is how could it have left without making a sound? And it did. I don't know how. So I think there is other DNA involved or abilities beyond like, a great ape or a primate or
Mm-hmm.
just some unknown animal. But I don't know if it's heavenly stuff, involved, or if it's alien type stuff involved with like an earthly animal, or, if it's government involved. I don't believe that because it goes back too far
Yeah.
to me, way too far
Yeah.
for that. So I'm on the fence. I know my sister, if there's any woo involved, she's out. She doesn't want to believe that because it's hard enough to believe there's a monster out there, or I won't even call it a monster. It's not necessarily a monster, but a boogeyman. And for her, if it's something that has more than that, it's really frightening, and she doesn't want to go out look for that. And I kind of understand that too. And so I'm on the fence. I do believe that they can bleed, they breathe, they drink, they eat, and they do all that. But then
poop.
there's things that they do that,
Yes, poop.
yeah.
Yep.
So
Poop and pee and
yeah,
eat and drink and
yell and
stink and yeah.
And,
Yeah.
This first picture is, I'm sorry, guys.
no.
This first picture is the actual area. Okay. You really, before you zoom in or anything, it's going to be in this area here. How far is this tall? Probably at least 7 foot, because it's just a little bit of a bank, but not much, just a little bit. And there's primitive camping back in here where you put a tent up. All these spots back in here. Okay. I'm sorry. Find the right one. And I
Yeah.
did this one just to aggravate a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because everybody hates lines drawn and everything. But I actually thought what I saw was originally down in here, but then I zoomed in and I started picking up this area here.
Yeah. Yeah, you could see it even before you put the circle. You made it the wrong color though. It should be a red
Okay.
circle.
Yeah, I know. So then I said, well, let's just do a little playing in Photoshop. I didn't alter anything outside of one day I learned how to use this thing. Play this up. Just, of course, again, it's nighttime. The more you blow it up, the fuzzier it gets. I'll just go with this picture here because the other one is similar to this, but it's a different. It's not as bright. So we'll just use this one here. You see anything there?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
See an eye socket here?
Yeah, I see a
Eyeball.
eyebrow, eye,
There's whites on each side of the eye.
right, and the nostrils.
Yeah.
Yes. And a brow ridge.
Yes, the brow ridge.
And I think if I blow it up here, you're not going to see it. I can't tell if this is wrinkles here on the forehead or not. I don't think it is. And
I don't know, possible.
this, I thought maybe this would have been an ear right here, but I think this is just leaf cover here blocking out what could be part of the, I won't say a full conical head, but this is definitely a snout area. Not a snout, but a nose area.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
this right here, the brow ridge is what led me to believe, away from a bear, obviously. But that eye socket is deep and dark.
That is, yeah.
So
Well, that kind of reminds me of the white Bigfoot here in Pennsylvania, where the eyes are completely black.
yeah. But something's there. And
Yeah,
whatever is, there's nothing in the foreground of that photo that triggers that photo or
Right.
triggers the camera.
no, you can see it.
But what it is indecisive. I don't know. Todd's being awful quiet. He probably thinks it's nothing.
No, it's exactly like what I've seen of other people that I research with, what they've captured, what I've captured.
Right.
I've dozens and dozens of times I've seen this, and it makes sense. Again, they're looking through that small peephole only
Yep.
with one eye.
Mhm.
I believe that capturing that picture or image of them looking straight on to us is rare because again, it's back to that self-awareness. So like in art, when you go to illustrate a person's face, there's a T that you draw, and it's how our brain works. So they're only exposing one part of that recognition. It's all they need to see you and exactly what you have. I have pictures of the same thing. And if you play with your settings more, especially with the contrast, really blur it out. One thing I've observed is this consistency. What looks like is a creature is going to look different when you really play with the images than the foliage around it is all I can say. It's going to remain constant. And it kind of tells me there's something there. You can take away the stuff around it and play with that image more. Trust me, you can.
Yeah, I'm not super knowledgeable in, even though I'm a motorsport photographer at times, but I'm not. With that, I don't play with Photoshop a lot, fortunately. Unless I have a really bad photo, I'll just toss it out and not use it. But
Right.
I don't have a whole lot of experience in Photoshop.
And it's not going to prove anything to yourself. But if you end up doing it to all these photos and you keep noticing the same kind of reaction to it, it started to tell me that there's something there in this organic stuff around it. Light in the image reacts differently than the solid skin object does.
It again, I was looking at a different part of the area, which was probably pareidolia, really.
Yep.
And then I got the monkeying around, and this popped up at me, and I sat back in the seat, and I'm like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah.
I couldn't believe what I was looking at.
It's like your brain.
There it is.
Yeah, your brain knows. Recognizing the face.
Oh
and
yeah.
Brow ridge, the distance between the nose, the cheek. I have a bunch of photos exactly like that. With that, and it's But what's interesting to me, most of mine typically are the right eye that I capture, where this would be
Right.
the left eye.
Left eye.
But maybe they just be coincidence. But we tend to be dominant right eye, or that's just how you caught it looking in that moment. You
Yeah,
know?
that certain angle.
Yep.
Now, this was taken at nighttime.
Oh yeah, 11 o'clock, 11 something at night, and it's a campground, and
Uh-huh.
that side of the road there is no light at all.
Okay,
Nothing.
that makes sense.
Now there is a bathhouse behind my RV. Probably twice the distance or more than that is
Hmm.
in front of me. This would be off to my like front right side of the RV, other side of the roadway from my campsite there. So
Now,
it's
you
black.
know,
It's dark. It's very dark.
yeah, you know which video that I was talking about, the Carbondale Bigfoot. It's
Yes.
white,
Yes.
and the eyes are all black.
Yes.
Now, you know, in the black eyes, I know it creeps people out, but it makes sense.
Yep.
At nighttime, your pupils enlarge,
Yes.
you know, to gather in as much light as possible. And, you know, it's enlarged so much you don't see any white, but that's so they can see in the dark.
So, what am I
Mary.
doing, Leanne? I'm sorry.
Pardon
I'm
me?
sorry. Go ahead, David.
I was just say, Gina was asking, Mary, are you able to kind of outline the whole face so Gina can see? She's having a hard time seeing it.
Yeah,
Outline the whole face like right here. Can you see my cursor? Wait a
No.
minute. Wait a minute.
Oh, yeah, yes.
Okay, now just come up through here like this. This is what I'm seeing here. Okay.
Yes.
Right. Now I don't know if this is an ear or if this is a continuance of the top of the head coming around like this, because this could just be foliage. Foliage, I mean,
yeah,
covered part of the head there. And it's
kind
going
of,
to come through here, and then it's going to be covered, a lot of leaf cover. Now there's a bit of an eye or brow ridge here, definite brow ridge here. Okay, then you got an eye socket here, big dark eye socket, and I'm seeing here with my computer, I see a black eyeball right here.
Yep.
I got some white here, and I got some white here.
Yep.
okay,
Almost
yes,
like reflection right in it, too.
yeah,
Could be. And then, you're going to come down here on this brow ridge into the upper nose area, nostril or whatever, and then ridge. And then you got another brow ridge starting here. Of course, this is all leaf covered. And what could start right here is where the other eye socket starts. But again, we're covered
Yep.
by foliage. And then
Yeah.
we got a nose here of some sort. Right through here.
yeah. There's the nose with the nostrils, and
And then it comes down here. Again, foliage covers everything over in here. You can't really see anything.
Now, graphically, doesn't it look like those cartoon images I drew for the cueing? There's a reason I drew it that
Yes.
way.
Yeah.
Because I have so many photos that look just like this, and it looks just like the brow ridge, the distance between the eyes, the way the nose is.
Yeah.
There's a reason I drew it that way, because what people are capturing, what I've captured, what this homeowner's captured. Mary, you've seen that picture of the one standing behind the pine tree.
yes,
Skin and the brow ridge you see. Wow.
Mhm.
You can even see the sun. It's black leathery skin.
yeah,
Yeah. I will say though, this nose looks nothing like what I saw through the window that morning. This nose I saw was large and flattened. You know what I mean?
hmm
With large openings. This doesn't appear to be. This scared me. It's like, is that a dog, man? Is that a dog? Snouted
That's
nose?
what it looks like.
You know, that's what worries me.
yeah. That's what I'm kind of thinking, but without seeing the whole face, and
Yeah,
it's covered
yeah.
with leaves.
Yeah. And I
Also,
can't tell if this is an ear or not because
Yeah.
this could be foliage here. Foliage. I keep saying foliage, but
plus,
foliage.
plus the eye socket itself, that's huge.
I
think, to me, the nose looks right. I just think that there's foliage or something kind of impacting the right hand side in the image of the nose.
Definitely.
That's why
Definitely.
Right. And the depth is thrown off because of all the foliage.
I think the left in the image, the left nostril and stuff, I think is right. To what I've seen.
Yeah.
Well, I can see in
like-
this picture, I see two openings right here
Yeah.
for the nostrils. So that tells me it's a skinny. They're all different. I understand there's different types of noses, different types of this, that, et cetera, et cetera. To me, there's something there. I know I'm not crazy. You know. See?
No, there's something there. Yes.
It's a good picture, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
If you understood, I mean, you're looking into a total pitch black area. I mean, there's no, you know how campgrounds along the roadways will have an occasional, this one does, it's a state park, will have an occasional, you know, dusk to dawn light
Mm-hmm.
in some of the areas. But this, looking straight across to the right hand side of my RV, is pitch black, nothing.
Are
If
you
there's any, if there's any light back there, somebody's got a campfire going. You know.
are you going to go there again?
Yeah, I went there this past fall. We go there at least twice a year, and this
So-
place is 15 minutes away from here.
So, what I would do, like in the evening, or early morning when there's light, so you can see the forest floor, but try to set your camper up in the same position with lights out for your reference, and try to find that spot where this was standing. Because what I find, they repeat their locations where they observe us. In other words, it's been proven to them over and over it's a safe location because it offers the features that they like, of escape. And they look through that little window repeatedly at other campers too. And I'll bet you'll find something that'll suggest, compressions right there, something that you'll see that offers really good cover. And I'll bet you something, that hole is still there, because at the R&R site, remember I talked about those slots that line up, and Mary, I don't know how many years ago I put those survey tapes up.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen something, you and Dave seen something block the light out of it.
Yeah.
This is not altered in any way other than cropped. In other words, I didn't change, like make it brighter or anything. And it's you really got to struggle to see it without brightening it up a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. There
But
it
you
is.
can still see that nostril. What
Yeah.
could be some kind of a marking of a mouth. I'm not sure.
Yeah, possible.
But
Yeah.
there's no denying that brow ridge
Mhm.
starting over here, the nose, and that eye socket. Man, that thing it's staring. It's looking at the camera. Thankfully, not my RV. I was scared to death thinking maybe that thing knows. Got a couple. We have 2 family cats. We always take with us camping. Was it looking at that? But it's looking directly at that camera, hanging on a tree to the right of my RV. So
Now, how high up can you tell on the original photo?
as far as where the camera is, or where he is, or
No,
it
where
is,
he is, where it is.
I'm going to say at least 7.5 to 8 foot, no more than that.
Okay.
It's very, yeah. It's probably maybe a foot higher than the way my RV would sit. The camera is probably almost just a tick below what would be 8 foot, because I could just reach that camera where I tied on that branch, strap it on the branch. I mean, I got to reach to get there. So, and I can reach 8 foot. Now I think that's pretty much in line with it.
Yeah. And
I would say it's 7 foot. I would say it's about 7 foot tall. Whatever.
and can you show the original photo again, please?
Sure. Yep. I got to do that so I can cancel everything out here and look for it.
Oh, where'd Todd go?
Oh no, he's still here, isn't he? Oh,
And
there he is.
Robert
He
was
must-
wondering how long after
There
you
he
took
is.
the picture, how long was it that you saw that you had the picture? I think that's what he's asking.
It was pretty quick. It was pretty quick because I get excited whenever my trail cameras have something on it, so I got to hurry up and put it in. When I got home, I would say it was at least within 2 days. At least within 2 days. So taking some speed before this. No, I'm fine. Believe it or not, I can stay up late if I need to. But anyway, uh, yeah, I'd say within 2 days.
I don't know where I got cut off, but I can pretty much guarantee you, if you can set up the same place, get the same angles, you should be able to go in the woods and see where they were standing. And you got to look at the little details. They will leave a little bit of sign. To me, it's almost like they'll mark that observation point, like for others to watch. But it's almost like it suggests that like there's an alpha, the wise one that approves this location, and I think they leave little signs around it to reinforce, okay, this location's still good. And actually, as you think that you may be in the one location, to turn around and see what your options were to leave there, to escape. And I'll bet you as you move out further, you're going to see the sign getting larger. So now the limb twists, tree breaks, those suggested things are going to start getting larger. It's like as they stage in, their little sign and manipulation that they do gets smaller and more subtle. And,
Right.
and they'll be looking through more than one layer of cover. I mean, that reinforces my experience, my hypothesis, I guess.
Mhm.
Back it off so you can see the roadways here.
Okay. And that's a bank.
It's
Go-
no,
That looks
it's
tall.
just very little here.
Little.
This is just tall, like scrub, weeds and
Okay.
stuff. Yeah, it's not even a foot, Mary, I would say,
Okay.
to go from that walking into there, because there's actually a trailhead right here. You see that sign right there?
Yeah.
That's actually is that my campsite marker? No, that's actually a sign to park there. There's a trailhead. It goes back. It's called the Green Trail here, I think. It'll meander down here towards the river, Susquehanna River.
That looks higher than 7 foot.
It could be. I could be
Mhm.
wrong, but I know my camera's over here in this tree. There's a tree limb there that's looking,
It's
and it's
above
pretty
that
much that
crotch
height.
on that tree.
Yeah.
But
So,
don't narrow your thinking down to the height, because
right.
they move low and they look low and they work low, and it makes sense because they hide their form.
Yeah.
But there was something in here now. This right here fooled me. See this conical shape here?
Yeah.
And then I seen
Yeah.
this. Oh my God! Look at that eye! Look at that eye! Then this really looks evil right here as an eye.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was looking. This was my focal point
Yeah,
when
I
I
see.
first downloaded these photos, and I got the monkeying around. I put everything in, and then that's when I saw this, and I started, what is this? And then I blew it up, and that just set me back in the chair. It's like, you got to be kidding me! Look at that. There's where you need to be looking. So, what is this down here? Is this part of his body down here? I don't
Yeah.
know.
Looks like his
Yeah.
body.
Possible.
Who knows?
Well,
Who knows?
so some of these photos like this, what I've seen so many times, it appears like there's another one in front of it down lower.
Yes.
That
Yes.
it's smaller or something, and it might not be looking at you at that moment, and potentially there could be another one in front of it.
Hmm.
But you see this caught my eye first, right here.
Right.
This area right here.
Yeah.
Then I got to
That
just
lowest
looking-
spot, Jerry, right where you're at, that lowest spot down to the left right there, that spot's darker than anywhere else on that whole
here
picture.
and here. Yes.
Yep.
That's why I backed it off so you could see this whole area right here is dark. See it? See all down in here to see it's more black than anywhere else.
Hmm.
And that's
Then-
one I would play with the exposure and the contrast and stuff,
Okay.
because it'll be interesting. You'll be able to make everything else go away, but the spot that you think there's something standing there, that'll still remain in the photo. And
Yes.
it's again, suggestive, but pretty compelling. and you got to play with it yourself.
Yeah, yeah, I will. It's a time thing, but I definitely will.
Yeah.
But it just kind of shelved it for now. But I mean, it's not to prove. I'm not trying to prove anything. But I got to looking, like I said, down below there in that darker spot. It's like, wow, look at that conical head, down here. I was looking at this right here, and then I come up in here, and I'm like, holy! I can't say the words here, but it woke me up real quick. It set me back in the chair. I said, I can't believe that. Like, wow.
Yeah, there's
it's there. It's something's there.
Yep.
That's not pareidolia, folks. I'm sorry.
No,
I don't. I will fight you tooth and nail. It's not pareidolia.
Yep. And
yeah,
there's something the way that light reacts to these things to their benefit, but I think that's why it'll show up when you start playing with this photo, and you'll see what I mean. And because the light is reacting differently with that surface, different than all the other organic matter around it, is all I can say.
Yeah.
So it suggests it's something different.
Yeah. First thing I thought was bear, obviously, because we do occasionally have a black bear around. But until I started noticing this right through here. I said, bear don't have a big brow ridge there.
No,
they don't have that. They don't have that. So yeah, that's my one photo I have. So yeah. And I expected criticism, and that's fine. It's all part of life. But so far I've had more. I've only had one, maybe two pareidolias. That's okay. I'm not even going to say who told me that. It's okay. They're well known. It's all good. But
there'll never be proof in a picture.
No.
I understand that.
So hard.
I know.
Yeah. Just
that's why I don't share it around much. It's pareidolia. Okay, Sean.
Yep.
Pareidolia.
Pareidolia.
Yeah. That's great.
Bears. It's bearsadolia.
Yep.
Bearsadolia, yeah.
Just a bear.
But I appreciate you looking at it. Yeah. But the whitish areas of the eyebrow area look like some of the leaves in the surrounding area. I agree. It could be. Yep. It could be. But you zoom it in and look at it, it looks like a brow ridge to me. Just
yeah, you see some of these other pictures people post, and it's so zoomed in and out of focus. It's like really stretching.
Yeah.
To make something out of it. That you can see, like when you do the full picture, where the face of it is, like that dark spot, the size and everything fits. You know what I mean? It's
fits
not
the
just
brow
one
ridge
little
area,
spot
right.
that you're zoomed in. The whole thing fits together really well.
Yeah, there's no denying, Catherine, that eye. That's I'm surprised I didn't pick that up right away. But when the first thing that grabs your attention when you're looking at the original photo is that conical shape with what looks like two eyes. But man, I looked above there and like, oh, I said, look at here. But again, I haven't pushed it online. That's probably the second time I've shown it on the show. So
well, I'm glad you did.
I'm not looking for anything. I just opinions. That's basically all it is. So.
Well, it matches so many other that I've personally taken, or people with me, or our collaborators. It like the one Tara took, I did some editing to. It's the same way. But what I like with that one, it really suggests the hand on the tree out from. And again, it's just the one eye. Brow ridge, everything you just showed, everything is all the same components. And how are you coming up with the same thing that I am, that she is, and other people?
Right.
You got a left eye. Majority of these are a right eye. Well, they got two. So
right, yeah. It's just a matter of how you're going to catch them, I guess. And
yep.
Show this again real quick for those that couldn't see it.
And
again, I didn't enhance any of this. I just started circling and with everybody hates, but
it could be looking from one side of a tree to another to get a better angle to see something. Maybe it's looking at something.
And I can understand where people would think this is some foliage cover. I'm sure it is. foliage.
Oh, and
But-
that's how we gauge distance is with the 2 eyes. So it makes sense
Yeah,
that they,
right here. You
one
can clearly see where the indentation
Yep.
Yeah.
of the next eye socket is starting here, and there's
Yeah.
the other one.
Yeah.
Your brow ridge is right here, and then you got an area here that flattens out a little bit.
Mhm.
And what
And-
could be the start of another brow ridge here?
Yep. And it can probably see just enough what it wants to see from there versus your exact camera angle.
Yeah.
Or it could be switching between the 2 eyes because that's how we judge distance. And that's why we have 2 eyes. And you hear about people that lose vision in an eye. What do you have trouble with? Judging distance.
I wish this was a little more defined up in here. I don't see conical here. It could be because if it's conical, then this is foliage here, and this is not an ear. This is actual head coming up into here and coming back down, but we can't see because of coverage in here. So, again, just thoughts. You know.
I like it.
I appreciate it. I'm glad. Yeah, I appreciate your opinion. So.
Well, I appreciate you sharing.
Like I'm one of them people that don't, unless one day somebody will get definitive, but it's going to take a video more so than a picture, I think.
Yeah.
A good video of an honest person. Let's put it that way.
Still, it's going to be so tough to prove.
Yeah.
Yep. Like
Yeah.
Patty.
Right. Yep.
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 Yeah. I agree, but there you go. I cracked. You got to see it.
Thank you.
I appreciate you checking it out.
Hey, Jeff, when you're up racing again in Western New York, let me know. I would, man, I love tractor pulls.
Jerry.
We go to one a year. I mean,
I'm the guy that's awake. The other guy that's asleep is Jeff.
you know what? I'm
That's what I tell people.
really small screen, and really
It's
for me
all
to
good.
see it, I'd look really goofy wearing both. Oh yeah, Jerry. Yep.
It's all good. We used to go to Dansville twice a year.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, they don't pull at Strawberry Fields anymore. I think that's the only 2 areas I've been up New York pulling.
Yeah.
But I know several people up around there to pull. So, losing
Tell
my
me about
voice.
your pig. What do you
What's
run?
that?
What do you run?
Oh, I film. I'm a videographer.
Oh, okay.
I
right.
film video.
Yep.
My main channel is the EP pulling videos on Facebook or YouTube.
Okay.
We have shows on Wednesday nights.
I like the big old like internationals. I forget what class they call that, but like
Super
the
stock.
super
Stock.
stock 1266s that just roll that coal, look like
Yes,
a tornado, pretty much
Yep.
a tractor. Oh yeah, I like
I
that.
had the opportunity to drive a 966 one day.
That's what I grew up on.
2 Charger Super. That's a handful. It was fun.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
That's what my truck looks like going down the road, and it's a V8.
Not rolling coal on purpose.
Whoa.
You got a question.
Uh,
For you.
Is Bigfoot, New York, Todd anywhere near Binghamton, New York? Robert says he used to live in Vestal around 1969 to 71.
I'm closer to Rochester, but where he grew up, absolutely, there's activity there. Absolutely.
How about Holly, New York? You familiar with that area? You should be.
I am.
Yeah, that's not far outside of Rochester.
No, it's not. And
I know the Christ family up there. I think they own.
they're apple farmers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, they
they're
have orchards and some
yeah,
stuff.
they're customers of mine. Good people.
Yeah, Scott Christ and
Yep.
Henri. Henri is. You look up Henri in the dictionary. Scott Christ's picture's there.
Yeah.
They have super farms. They tractor pull too,
Oh, yeah.
and their
Yeah.
dad has a super stock.
Okay, I didn't know they did. Yeah,
Lloyd
there's
Christ. Mhm.
some big farms out there. A lot of big produce ones, but apple farmers too. So what's really interesting to me, if you go on the any of the sighting maps, that Holly area actually has some historical reports and dogman sightings. But you get towards Waterport, so it would be Oak Orchard has multiple BFRO reports, which I know that area well, which is mind-boggling. But when you stop and analyze it, it's not. It's the trout and the salmon that run there. You have a greenway up to Lake Ontario, and think of after a salmon run, all those dead fish, and it goes through such a deep ravine up there. There's especially the cover of night. They've all been in the fall. All the apples and all the other produce is ripe. When you follow that south, it goes to the Tonawanda Indian Reservation, the Tonawanda Wildlife Refuge, and you go south of that, you get into Batavia. There is a greenway. Then you start coming into Franklin, and there's some fantastic reports out of Franklin. And you follow that down Honeoye Creek, then you show up ultimately in my area. So it's like what it suggests is it travels those greenways after food.
Exactly.
And you don't think of that as a forested area until you really start looking at it. And it's funny, a couple months ago, I drove through the Tonawanda Indian Reservation, and the amount of in that area and surrounding it, again, back to the Bigfoot silhouettes in people's yards, is like a calling card.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even at the reservation, yeah, because I did go there for the cheap diesel fuel. And they had a huge carving of one out there. And yeah, I did a selfie with it. I had to, But to me, there's a reason why. And it holds the potential. I remember even one time meeting at my business, a customer on a Saturday, had a small vineyard. He was coming through, and I was doing the Bigfoot thing, but this was actually before I had my encounter with this hunting lease. There was nothing suggestive of this conversation. He just all of a sudden looks at me and says, what happened to me on the way up? I'm like, what? This is around Batavia. Traveling at night. He said, this thing crossed the road, the classic, so many steps, this huge silhouette of it and the car lights. He said, I had to call the state police because of what he saw and this out on the road. And I'm like, where? Of course, I break out Google Maps right here. Yeah, isn't that where that waterway crosses that? Right before you go up the escarpment before Batavia. And it all makes sense. And it was actually, that would have been my first report of somebody sharing with me. And it was unsolicited. And it happened to the guy that night before or early that morning on the way to me. I don't know for sure, but it was dark. And you could tell that he was telling me about it because he had to tell somebody. And that always stuck with me. Same area.
Oops.
Squatch
Yeah.
Yellowstone.
Batavia. I've heard of all those areas. Java, Batavia.
Yep.
I got friends all up through there, people I know. Yep. Fun to pull them, bro.
Used to drive up there with my ex-fiance up to Ottawa. He lived in Ottawa.
That's a long drive.
Yeah.
Not long over the lake. I mean, 5 miles or something.
I don't think we'll break their record just yet. We're within what? Within 2.5 hours of it. We're 3.5 hours up. Mary's hanging in tonight. She's
Yeah. I'm winding down. I'm starting to get a migraine.
Oh,
yeah. I gotta get up in 5 hours. So
Yeah, I'm getting sore, and I've turned the heat off in my workshop, and it was warm today, but it's like a refrigerator in here, and my hands have been cold a long time.
oh man. It's almost 9 here. It's getting pretty late.
oh my goodness. He's from Oregon. He lives in Oregon. What do you expect?
Smack you.
Yeah, beautiful.
And my wood stove's so warm. I'm kind of hot over here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
mine's going in the next room. Yeah.
I've got to put an auger motor in my pellet stove. My upper auger's not turning anymore, so
Ooh.
I've got one here somewhere here.
Yeah, you probably do go into a corn dryer.
All right, hey,
Okay.
we'll go ahead and wrap it up. I appreciate it, man. Fantastic stuff. Again,
Oh, I enjoyed it.
that stuff of luring them bad boys into windows and stuff like that. That's good thinking, man. That's awesome.
I'm going to be on with Mary couple weeks.
Sometime, can't remember. Did
And-
we schedule something?
I think we did. And we're going to have a guest on, Logan from
Oh,
Texas.
okay. Yeah, April. He said April 9.
Yep. From
Yeah.
Texas, that is doing this camera project and building an app and putting out these remote cameras. He's investing a lot of money, a lot of technology, but it's what he does. And it's going to feed so as people can join this app, because it's at the end of the day, it's going to need people to see this stuff. And it's a hell of a project he's got going. He's going to need help. But really what he needs help with is a good place with activity, with good, honest people there too, because Mary and I are really trying to qualify the right people and try to get them some leads.
Yeah.
Mary and I have some good places, but what it always comes down to, you know how it is, people, they're sensitive about it being public and they always worry about that. Logan's approach is very, the discretion, he's approaching it right, but it has to be the right place for lots of reasons.
Sure.
Fit for both parties, but it needs to be a qualified place. I mean, he's putting serious money into it. And
Yeah.
gosh, if he had power, he'll show up with the Starlink. And it's incredible technology he has. It's not going to pick up limbs. It's pretty impressive, isn't it, Mary?
Yeah. Yeah. I can't wait to get him on to explain
Yeah.
what he's doing and explain the technology. It's just finding there's plenty of properties that we know of. It's just, the property owners are so afraid of information getting out.
And
I believe, didn't he contact Flat Rock? I believe.
Yes. Yeah.
Because we had him on a few weeks ago, and I think he mentioned something about that.
He did. And I mean, I can't speak for Flat Rock, but there was probably something there that wasn't a good fit for him. Somewhere there will be. And I really want to help him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it would be fun to be part of. And then he's going to need the viewers of this app to help find that stuff, just like that photo, to help find that. And it'd be fun. And it could involve a lot of people that are interested in this, but can't get out in the woods. But they could be part of the discovery.
Yeah.
Yeah,
just
that's
watching the videos and, hey, you can maybe spot something that.
And be part of it. Yep.
It's awesome.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, it's definitely worth a shot. That's for sure. You're going to catch him.
So after Mary and I do our interview, I think he's somebody you should interview.
Okay.
I'd like to help him out as much as possible. I just, I've been talking to him for several months, and just good, humble guy.
Yeah.
Love his character, and his knowledge is incredible. On the tech side, he's an incredible tool. He's still learning the Bigfoot stuff, like all of us. But the tool that he brings, holy cow. And he wants to have multiple sites. And he's investing a lot of money, a lot of time.
I mean, is this of course, let him tell his story, I guess, but to access the videos, is that something you can do wirelessly, or is he going to brave giving that information out and having an overload. You know what I mean?
It'll be available through an app.
Okay.
Yep. Yep. And you can be part of it. You can review different historical stuff. If you see something, you can send a notification to him. It's a huge collaboration, and that's what it depends on.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely the property owners. They're going to be part of the rights of this, and
Yes.
also the person that makes the discovery of viewing the data too is going to be acknowledged somehow. I can't speak out of turn,
Yeah.
but it's truly a collaboration.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Sean. Okay. Yeah, Sean said something about government. There's going to be some government pushback on technology like that, trying to expose their secrets and lies.
It feels that way.
Yeah,
Mhm.
there always is some way, somehow, Sean.
Yep.
Yep.
Feels that way.
Yeah. Especially in this wonderful state. But anyway. Poor David. Every other day he hears me complaining about our governor. So.
Ours ain't much better, I'm telling you.
Oh man.
Ours is way worse.
Well, yeah, same here, Pennsylvania.
Right.
But yeah, big Todd. Yeah, I agree. I think yours is worse.
Oh yeah.
Out
I don't know. Ours is running a close second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. He wants to raise their taxes 2% to 8%, et cetera, et cetera.
To give
Had
more.
a surplus of money when he come into office. It's all gone.
Oh,
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's for a different show.
that's right.
I hate politics.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. We're starting
All
to make Roger sweat a little bit, so we better.
Well, if anyone's interested, I'll be.
Yes.
My podcast will be on tomorrow evening. Hello, yes.
She was starting to doze off. She had to hide. I was kidding.
Monkey Wench podcast on Pennsylvania Bigfoot Project, 7:30 p.m. tomorrow evening, and my guest will be Ernie DeVoe, who had an amazing encounter where a Bigfoot made hand signs, like sign language. Well, yeah, doing different signs. And it should be interesting.
Cool. Okay. Again,
I'll be
and that's
there.
Monkey Winch podcast, and all part of that Pennsylvania Bigfoot project.
Yes.
Mary, you got something else coming up soon.
A camp
Yeah.
out at the end of April 24th through 27th at Michaud State Park. And come on the group on Facebook to get more information.
That's close to home. I can get there in about an hour and a half, somewhere 140 minutes probably. It'd be closer to 2 hours because you got to get through Gettysburg first. So
Okay.
it'd be 2
I
hours.
was going to ask if that's one near Gettysburg. It's like, yeah. I'm going with that one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my
I
Lord.
love Gettysburg.
Guess
Oh.
what? Sleepyhead
Yes.
will be there too. So don't worry, he'll fall fast asleep. So
I've-
I'm going to try to be there. Yeah, definitely.
Good. I hope so.
We're going to try to. Me and
You gonna
Todd.
fly out, Dave?
Oh, I wish.
Yeah.
I wish. That would be so fun.
Oh, well.
That's an active area periodically. Again, I reached out to that guy that's got some photographs from out there, but he just give me a one-word answer. So I guess he's not interested in talking. So that's okay.
it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough.
It is.
I've seen some of his stuff. There's some street structures back through there. So at least there was.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
probably
sure.
been 5-6 years ago. So. But
Yeah.
we know Michelle is busy at times. So.
Yep.
Plenty of
Well,
reports
no
there.
matter what, it'll be fun.
Oh, sure.
That's right. That's right.
That's like open season picking on Jeff. So I'm going to do my best to be there. So I have a tractor pull that weekend Berryville, Virginia. So it's a whole lot of back and forth. But I'll see if we're going to try to make it work. At least come out at least a day. You know,
Yeah, I hope
at
so.
least. Yep. Meet everybody and go from there. Come on out, David. Just a hop, skip, and a jump.
I'm on
Just a
my
hop,
way.
skip, and a jump.
Yeah,
It's only a few mountains away.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
start now.
Yeah.
For sure.
I wish. That'd
Okay.
be fun.
Yeah, it would be. Mary, thank you very much for
You're
jumping in
welcome.
here with us tonight. Todd, amazing stuff, man.
oh, it's been fun.
Absolutely. It's gonna definitely keep an eye on these channels, guys, gals. Join their channels, subscribe, all that good stuff. Check them out. Mr. Blaylock, thank you. Thank you
Thanks,
for not
sir.
falling asleep. Jeffrey, I'll talk to you tomorrow.
I might have to beat my pooter up next week if it don't quit acting.
Are you on your laptop and it's acting up?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And I'm right by the server or the router thing too. So
Yeah. It's working pretty good this last time around, so
yeah. Yeah.
hasn't skipped a beat. So okay. I guess with that said, we're gonna get out of here. Thanks everybody. We'll be back next Tuesday. I don't know who he has in mind. Maybe we can talk UFOs next week. Maybe.
Uh-huh.
We'll see.
Uh-huh.
That'd be
Hint,
interesting.
hint.
Hint, hint. If we can get a hold of her. So
Yep. Oh, I gave everybody my phone number. Somebody will get hold of me.
this is what we call the Southern goodbye. It takes forever. So
Yep.
anyway. Thanks
Thank you.
everybody. Appreciate everybody hanging in there. Again, Todd, Mary, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Cracker. We'll see you next Tuesday.
Night, night, footers.